Okay. Is Darla here? Bill Stewart?
Yeah, I'm here at 1969 West Hines Road at my home.
And Laura Dawson is here, and I am at 2125 West Gordonville Road. Are we waiting for Darla, or
What about Lawrence?
oh yeah, I'm sorry, Laura, because I don't see your face. I see your name. Sorry, Laura.
1332 West Olson Road, at my residence.
Okay, good, thank you.
And it is up to the rest of the board if we want to give Darla another minute or two. I know she struggles with trying to join in. Anybody have any input on that?
We can wait 5 minutes.
Okay. So at 4:07.
Christy, did you get my email on the Greendale contract?
Oops. I'm sorry, I was muted. Yes, and
So
if
we are
Darla,
gonna cover that.
what was that?
If Darla doesn't show up, then we can't cover it, but if she does,
Correct.
I would like to do it so that I can leave it for everyone to sign, so. Somebody just said they can't hear anything, but nobody's saying anything, so. I mean, I hear you and you hear me. I guess I don't know
We
what to
can
tell
hear
them.
you. We can hear
Okay,
you.
you can hear us now. Okay, now, yeah, everybody's saying they can hear it, so it's got to be something on their end, and then somebody's raising their hand to talk, but we're not started. I don't know if she can hear me or see me, but we technically aren't started yet without Darla.
There, I'm unmuted. Now they can hear you. So now I just see you. Yeah? Well, you can change your settings so that it shows up.
So I do ask that everybody in the public does remain muted during the meeting until public comment so that we can talk and do our business, please. Does anybody see Darla on yet?
Tanya's working with her to try to get her online. You want to hang on a minute?
Okay, thank you. do we have an update of how she's doing, or?
The link's not working yet. She's still trying. If you want to continue, I guess we can continue while they keep working on it.
Is she using the correct link?
She's working with Tanya, and Tanya gave me this link, so.
Okay. Bill, somebody said they had trouble logging in with the link, but they were able to log in with the meeting ID and password. If she just goes to Zoom and puts in the meeting ID and the password, she should be able to get on.
Yeah, Dana McCann just said the link didn't work, and I had somebody else tell me the link didn't work either.
Because the link doesn't
So there's been a couple people.
Hey, Laura,
Yes.
please.
Yes.
I think you misunderstood. The gal said if you go to the Zoom website, and I guess I'm in the process of trying this myself. So if you go to zoom.us, it goes to their homepage. In the upper bar, there's a join a meeting, and the premise is if we enter the meeting ID and there's a entry form or a spot for entering the meeting ID and then the password, we should be able to join. So I'm going to go try that. I'll give you a report back.
Okay.
That is correct.
I think she misunderstood what you had said. Hey, Laura?
Yes.
Yes, as you can see, I'm on Zoom now, so that worked for me.
Okay. So can Tanya hear us to give her the instructions that Steve just, because Bill's on mute.
Check the list and see if she's on there. She should be.
I see her.
All right. Darla, you are here now?
Darla, you need to unmute. Yes.
Yes. Darla, I need your actual location.
1489 West Stewart.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, I will go ahead and make a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of the Greendale contract.
Second.
All right, Christy made a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of the Greendale contract. And Christy, do you have that in front of you? I forgot to bring it home. If not, I can look in the budget for the amount.
I can pull it up real quick.
Just a minute, I have it. $48,837.28.
Okay, somebody's asking for explanation. This can be part of discussion. So, Lee Township has been in a contract with Greendale, and it's been for numerous years, and they pay Lee Township depending on what the expenses and stuff come to. It's all, Robin, the secretary, figures it out. So for this upcoming fiscal year, it came to $48,837.28, and that's divided into 4 equal payments, 1 each quarter. And our board members have to sign this if it gets passed, and then it goes on to Greendale for their board members to sign it and send back to Lee. So, does anybody have discussion about it? Okay.
So there's a motion on the table.
Yep.
To accept the Greendale contract in the amount of $48,837.28 with a second by Bill. So go ahead and take roll.
Christy?
Yes.
Darla?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
I will say yes. And Lawrence?
All right, one sec. So we're talking about just the agenda, correct?
No, the Greendale contract.
Yes.
Okay. All right, motion carried. I will have a copy on the counter in the lobby. I would ask that everyone would stop by and sign where your name is so I can get it off to Greendale. Thank you.
I just rolled up this. I didn't get it out yet.
All right. We need an approval or a motion for the approval of the minutes from the March 2008 meeting.
Second.
I didn't make a motion. I need a motion.
Oh, I'll make that motion.
All right, Bill made the motion. I'll second it.
So let's go back to the minutes of 2018.
March 8th.
All right, Bill made a motion. Laura seconded it. Any discussion? All right, Darla?
I'd like to find out about the meeting minutes. I couldn't attend the meeting. I'd like to be able to find out, please.
I have a correction on those minutes. The minutes state that we're going to work on Olson Road from 11 Mile East. Actually, I believe we agreed to do 11 Mile from M20 to Olson.
Oh, I had the wrong, did you sign the wrong contract then, Christy? I guess we're gonna have to check into it, because I was assuming that it was the 11, what I have in the minutes. If that's wrong, then yes, we can correct it.
It is the split one. So they're going to do the first part, the first year for 60-some thousand, and then the second year they're doing the, just like they did 8 Mile.
Correct, but Bill's saying that I have the wrong road.
No.
Not Olson.
What are you doing?
11 Mile.
I was just going to vacuum it up with that, but I can't.
Okay,
You wanna
so
get-
it's not
you wanna get
Olson, Olson from 11 Mile going 1 mile east is what I thought that it was. You're saying it's 11 Mile from 21 Mile east?
East, south.
No,
North.
from 20 to Olson Road.
It's north.
11 Mile runs north-south.
Yeah.
Right, but from 20 on 11 Mile going 1 mile east.
North.
No.
No, it'd be going 1 mile north.
Okay, so is that the contract you signed then, Christie? If not, we're gonna have to,
Yes, this is the one I have in my email from Art. It's from 11, the road is 11 Mile from M20 to Olson. It's the subtotal for this year is $62,963.04.
I have the right amount, but I just did a typo, so it should be 20 to Olson on 11 Mile.
Correct.
Okay. I will make that correction. So if anybody wants a copy of the minutes, all they have to do is, they should be on the website, and you can email any of us and ask them to send it to you. So, all right, Bill made a motion. Any other discussion?
I'm telling Dad to give his butt back.
Okay, Darla,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
with the correction. I will say yes. Lawrence
Yes.
and Christie.
No. All right, motion passed. The next thing is the budget amendment discussions and approval for this fiscal year.
So, we never did the agenda, approved the agenda. We skipped right to the Greendale budget.
No, we did. We did, Lawrence. I'll reread it to you.
Well, I don't ever remember voting on it, so, but it is what it is.
Christie made a motion. Well, you know what? He is 100. We talked about it, but then Darla wasn't here.
Okay, so we'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of the Greendale contract.
We did, if that's what it is. We are 100% correct. It was, Christie made a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of the Greendale contract. Bill seconded it. And then a little bit of discussion was made. It's in the amount of $48,837.28. Christie said yes. Darla said yes.
Yeah.
Bill said yes.
But I asked when it got to me if it was just the Greendale contract that we were voting on,
You
or
did.
the agenda. You guys said Greendale contract. You guys didn't
It
say
is
agenda,
with the
or I would have
agenda.
voted no. All right.
No, I think it should be revoted. There was some confusion there to make it fair.
I'm fine with that. If everybody else is, I mean, it's up to the rest of you guys.
Okay, so it doesn't work just like that. So what needs to be done is the agenda, then you need to say that you need to make a motion to remove the motion that was made so that the vote somebody's got to put that out there. We can't just throw it away. It doesn't work like that.
Right, to rescind the motion.
Lawrence, do you want to do that?
I just want everybody from here moving forward for this meeting to speak clearly, and if somebody asks questions, to answer honestly and about what they're voting on, because I did ask what I was voting on, and you guys said something else, so I'm just not pleased with it, but it is what it is, and we'll move on.
All right, I'll make a motion to rescind our entire vote on the Greendale contract in with the agenda.
I'll second.
Second.
Christie, was that you?
Yeah, I beat Bill.
All right, so go with your motion again, Christie.
Nope, take roll call. There's a motion on the floor.
That's right, I'm sorry. Thanks for correcting me. Okay, I made the motion to rescind our vote on the approval of the agenda with the Greendale contract. It was seconded by Christie. All right, Bill,
Yes.
I will say yes. Lawrence,
Yes.
Christie,
Yes.
and Darla.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to
with
approve the
addition
agenda
Of the Greendale contract.
with the addition of the Greendale contract.
I'll second it.
Oh, yeah, it's getting nasty. Gee, it's expensive.
All right.
No.
Bill made a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of the Greendale contract, seconded by Christie.
Sort of cleaner.
Go ahead and take roll.
I got it in here. I'll be here.
And, I will start with Bill,
Yes.
Laura, I will say yes. Lawrence,
No.
What do I do with it?
Christie,
Yes.
and Darla.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Give me a second, give me a second.
Can I get a motion to approve the Greendale contract for the upcoming fiscal year, 21-22?
Oh, sorry.
Motion to approve the Greendale contract for the $48,837.28.
I'll
All
support
right,
it.
Christie made a motion to approve the Greendale contract in the amount of $48,837.28. Any discussion?
Bill made that motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bill, and then you seconded it, Christie?
No, Darla seconded.
Darla, that's what I had, Darla. Okay. All right, so I am going to start with myself, and I say yes. Lawrence,
Lawrence.
this is
Yes.
on the Greendale contract, okay.
Yep. Yes.
Christie,
Yes.
Darla,
Yes.
and Bill.
Who does?
Yes.
Okay, so like I said before, everybody please stop by and put sign your name where it's written.
Christie, that's why Christie's so fucking pissy.
All right, so the budget amendment discussion and approvals for this current fiscal year. Laura, the amendments that you gave us and then the budget report, I'm still showing like the assessor is only at 9,000 for the budget and it hasn't been corrected.
The income or what? Which one in the assessor? What's the GL number?
It would be the total department.
Okay, my budget that I have in front of me does not give me the breakdown for each department, the one that I sent you guys the other night. So in Jeanette's, she starts with 101,257,701, correct?
Correct. So the totals for that department, it's showing the original budget to be $9,258.75. And as we discussed at the meeting where you weren't going to do any budget amendments on her, you were going to adjust the actual budget that had been approved for the year in that spot, which her salary would have been $24,000 some odd dollars.
That's what I have, 24,325.
Okay, so for the budget, for the total for the department, it's still showing for the year $9,258.75, but the activity through the year is $26,657.63. Line item. So the total of all those line items at the bottom is what number we budget on. So that number that we agreed for that department, that number is showing $9,258.75. It's not showing that there was an amendment for the entire department.
I did it line per line if there were any budget amendments. So under the 2021, I increased her salary to $22,297.88. That's what it was. Payroll was $323.32. Postage activity was $219.08. We didn't have BS&A in there at this time this year, but we do for next year. Computer expense was $632. Convention training was $386. Equalization service $2,799.35. No miscellaneous. Temporary labor starts the next one. So that's all I have for her. If I'm missing something, I don't know what it is.
I guess I don't know how else to explain it.
Well, that's because you've got something different in a report. This one doesn't break it down and give me the totals per department.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna screen share.
We need to get off this COVID shit, get back to the fucking goddamn room together. It's so dry on, I gotta scratch it off.
That's water district.
Fuck is this problem, it's pissing me off. You don't give me shit, not fucking shit. You fucking gotta shit a fucking trail. Just sit there and fucking shit. Fucker, I don't know what fucking got into. If I catch him in that shit, he's gonna get fucking beaten.
Special meeting.
Not a fucking spanking, a fucking beating.
That's not gonna help the situation. We love you so much, it messes with you, and you
Stay the fuck out of the shit. Just stay out of it. What are they doing now, smoking their fucking chicken?
This is stupid. It's bothers me twice because there's no activity, so I keep having to go and look at my phone. It's like, even there's 10 people on the live feed right now that aren't on the Zoom meeting. This is ridiculous.
Oh, fuck this
Okay,
meeting's
so
about.
this is out
This needs
of
to be
your
done regular fucking
email,
meetings.
that says the budget reports after the amendments. So this is page 3 that I'm looking
You want
for.
this to be on?
Okay, so this would be
When I get down there,
right here, like the assessor. So the activity it's showing is, yes, her wages are that. The original budget, this is the bottom line, this big number here, 9,000. That's the number that we agree
Yes.
upon. And the numbers in between have to equal that. So
Really?
I guess what I'm asking is, where's the amendment? How does that show for the budget when we do that?
That was voted on last time. We've already approved it. And what it was from if you add under the original budget with me making the typo on her wages, that is going to come to 9,257, because her wages, as you can see, if you look under the activity, that's what her wages are. Between the top two lines, there was a correction. We had to do a correction, and that was approved at the last meeting. So when you look under activity, and I'm not even going off from this one now. That's it should still be the same, but what I sent you guys the other night was I had the 2021 amended budget, the 2021 activity, and the 2021 recommended budget. That's what I sent you guys the other night.
So there's the journal entry for that amendment. And then there was this amendment, right here for the salary and wages would be the one for Jeanette, but that one we discussed that you were going to hold off on because it just needed the correct numbers inputted into the budget.
But I still have to do a budget amendment for it.
Okay, but what I'm saying is it's not just salary and wages. The entire section, department, oops, now too far. Based on the 7-page budget with the numbers that we approve, that is the bottom line numbers that we use. So the ones in between, we can say what they are, but it's just so that this bottom number is what we base our budget on. In between, those numbers, those lines match that, but if we needed more money for computer expense and Jeanette had extra left over in her convention and training, you can move the money between those lines.
This is not the discussion to have.
What I'm asking you is, I'm confused on all of your things because they're not bringing you to what the 7-page budget in the GAA said. Also with the lines, when I talked with Shelley and sent you the email, the roads should not be included in revenue. Neither should the...
I don't have them there. I moved them when you look at the new budget. I moved them. I took what you just emailed me the other day. That is what I put into the computer, what you gave me, so we didn't have this challenge. So what you gave me is what I entered, Christy. I don't know what else to tell you.
But I'm not talking for the 21-22 budget. I'm talking for this year. This end of the year. I'm not looking at next year. I'm looking at right now.
You are looking at this year, stupid bitch.
So when we're looking at these reports for year end, March 31st, 2021, we need to make this right so it doesn't reflect that we're getting the road millage. We're not. We budgeted for that. We're not getting it.
All right, so if that is there, then we don't want it there, then a budget amendment will have to be done to move it from there to the new spot. I can't just,
Those
I
don't
would-
go, those aren't in the GL though. That's what I'm saying. We need to find a way to make this general ledger correct.
We need to find a way.
so are we having a meeting on Monday also? That is why
Yes, we
I
are.
sent this, that is why I sent this to you guys, and this happens every year. I send it out to all the board members, and I sent a specific message saying, look, if there are changes that need to be made, let me know so that I can do them. I did not hear back from any of you, none of you. So
Laura,
my,
we had a meeting scheduled between you and I to sit down and look at next year's and to adjust these.
Oh, here we go
and
again.
you canceled on me again.
do you know why I did? And I'm gonna be honest. My husband told me with all the stuff that's going on right now that he would prefer me to not meet with you alone in person.
That's right.
So you told me you couldn't meet because your husband asked you on a date
He
for
did.
dinner.
Oh, come
so
on.
You could have been honest and said, you know, how about we do a Zoom meeting?
Now you're pissing me off.
Instead, you just dropped it, and then things like this. So I have to hold a meeting so that we can discuss this. We can't meet with more than 3 people. It's a quorum. So I guess if I don't present this and tell you what we've been trying to share with you, that these budget numbers are wrong, then how am I supposed to do
I
that?
really fucking hate her. I really hate her. She just fucking
Like I
runs over
said,
and
none of you
completes her.
replied to me when I sent it to you. You could have replied and said, this is what I'm finding, just as I sent it to you, asking for that. That didn't get done. And you and I do not
can't even
need
get
to
the phone
take
to
up
stay because it
75
rings stupid.
people's time discussing this. If we cannot
This is
agree
what is
on
on the agenda. We have to figure these budget amendments out. This is
With
the
it being a
discussion
Zoom-
that's on here.
with it being a Zoom meeting, I'm at home.
So am I.
I can't get into my computer.
You
can't
got your
just
laptop?
type anything.
You have your laptop and you have remote access to the hall. We had got that set up for you.
While I'm on a Zoom meeting, I can't do it. I can't go back and forth. That is something that I don't know how to do Zoom along with opening my computer up to another screen. Sorry.
Okay, so as far as the budget amendments then,
I'm gonna tell you.
I guess I'll make a motion that you need to look through the
What,
7-page
somebody on
budget that was approved
know
for
what
the
this recording is.
2021 fiscal year
That's my sister. Right?
and make the adjustments accordingly for the departments.
Fucking hate that man.
Second.
Come on there, fucking woodpecker.
Let's go back to the screen.
Fucking woodpecker. Wow. No, no, no.
All right. I say yes, I will do that, Lawrence.
Yes.
Christine,
Yes.
Darla,
Yes.
and Bill.
Yep.
Motion passed. So the road revenue and park revenue, budget corrections, Laura said that she did fix those and the other ones, they will not show up next year. I just wanted to give a little bit more explanation to, the board and the public, in case they're wondering. After much discussion with the CPA and after Yo and Yo had said that, they're really not sure that it's revenue, we don't actually get that check to disperse. So previously we had put it in our revenue where it looked like, some years there were, hold on just a second, my computer's dying. It looked like, we were getting, I don't know, anywhere from 200,000 to 300,000 that we really weren't getting. It is for roads. So how the CPA said that we need to do it is that the road revenue does not go in the revenue, because it's not revenue, it's money from the county that goes directly to the roads, from road commission, but we do need to document our expenditure. So our expenditure would be down in, where the dusting and other roads, and Laura's aware of where that was. Shelley gave the number. And then the park revenue, up here in the revenue, it's not revenue. We are not expected to get that every year. That was a fund that was set aside. So that fund then got turned into the park maintenance for next year. And that was added to come up with, I believe it was the 3,500 that we set aside for park improvements and repairs and so forth. Any questions on that from the board?
I have a question. Can we take funds that were restricted for something such as park and roll it into a total number to not restricted funds?
Yeah.
From restricted to non-restricted.
So we are moving them into maintenance funds.
You can't.
The maintenance fund is used for the maintenance. This year, that 11,000, I guarantee you, is going to go into that splash pad.
Because that had been set aside for the pumps for the splash pad.
Right. Yep. And the majority of that maintenance money is going to that splash pad. And that should reoccur every year, where every year we set aside that amount of money for maintenance. Just because we get new pumps this year doesn't mean that next year a tornado won't come through and knock out that building and we need new pumps again.
Oh, jeez.
So it shouldn't be just looked at as just a one-time 11,000. It should be looked at as a reoccurring maintenance for the entire park.
No.
Because I thought we brought that to the table and we all voted on it, that it was supposed to stay restricted funds for the pumps.
If you'd like to make a motion to still have it, I don't care where it goes. I don't care if you take it out of the maintenance. If that's what everybody wants to do, it just cannot be in the revenue. It needs to be in the expenditure part, that you're setting aside that money to spend. You're not getting that money.
I agree.
I just really question moving restricted funds that had been voted on to stay there. But if
do you know when they were voted on to stay there in revenue? Laura, I'm not saying that you can't separate it out. If you want to, for the next budget year, make a motion to separate $11,000 out of the maintenance fund and make another line that says restricted funds for use to repair pumps or something to that extent. I'm completely okay with that. I'm not okay with leaving it in the revenue.
Correct. I understand that it should not be there year after year, because it appears that we're getting $11,000 every year when we're not. So it needs to be, and that is where it was put by choice. But I agree, it needs to go to the park, but it should stay in restricted funds and used for the pumps when they need replaced, because that's what we had agreed on. So if it's in that 35,000 or whatever the number was that it came to in the park that I just did without going and looking, it's in that, and I feel that it should be in a separate line and not just within maintenance for the park, because that will lead to another situation where we all voted on it, that it was restricted funds for the pumps. If we use it for something else, we're not doing justice for the residents again.
That is correct, but we also need to keep in mind that when we use the word restricted, unless it's a restricted donation, that the board still has the ability to spend the restricted funds to which we expended them to be restricted for in the event they are needed to pay for other things.
Not other things, no.
All right,
So,
where are we at even on this?
as far as what?
Where you're at, I guess I'm at a loss, so I'm done talking about the splash pad.
Okay. So then the road expenditure corrections for the 21-22 fiscal year, that was taken care of in that conversation as far as where they're going, and then questioning which road actually was, correct?
Yep. So next year, the non-matching, the matching, and the Lee matching fund are all in for the next budget. They all have their assigned numbers, so that way we can keep track of it.
And we've got the correct road demographics, I guess to say. It's the
Yeah, we
11.
brought that up in the minutes. That'll be taken care of. There's nothing in there, though, on this budget. We didn't put anything in the budget for this year for that.
For the expenditure, we agreed to do this road, so that expenditure has to go in from our non-matching
Right,
funds.
that's what I'm saying. It wasn't in yours, so that's why I questioned. Under road improvements, 101-446-933, road improvements, we need to put the 65 or whatever it came to. That needs to go in there, and that was not in yours. GAA, because I haven't had a chance to look at it. I just got it.
Yes, and it is in the 7-page
That's what
that I had sent out.
right.
Actually, it's in the matching funds, and we only have to put 30-some thousand in
I
as an
thought,
expenditure.
I thought we were not using, we were saving and carrying over for the matching funds.
We have matching and unmatching, and I thought we were using matching.
Christie, I thought you said we were saving that and carrying it over for next year.
I said I wanted to save and carry over both matching and non-matching. It's just got to get paid.
So
If we
I-
use,
if I'm putting that in, so we all need to be in agreement on the roads, if Bill has it in there, Bill, you are using, what, are you using the matching fund to pay for that road that we're doing?
That was the idea. They got 60-some thousand expense, and if we use matching funds, our expenditure then would be 30-some thousand.
Okay, so then that would have to be entered under the matching fund ones. So that's where I was questioning the that we didn't have any in there. So I'm going to take that 31, whatever it comes to, that's going to come out of the matching. Christy gave me two, Lee's matching or matching, and I don't know what the difference between the two of them are, Christy.
what did I say?
You had non-matching road funds in the amount of $79,165.
So we don't need to, we just have to document what we are spending. So the 31,000,
Right, but I have to put it under a general ledger number in my system. Is it going to go, it's not going to go under the non-matching. It's going under the matching road funds or the Lee's matching road funds. You gave me two of them because you're breaking it in half. So under Lee's matching road funds,
we should only have one box. What was the GL that I sent you from the CPA?
you put it all as the same number, and it can't be. It's got to be broken down. You put it all at 934. You had them all, and they have to be broken down because it's not our money. It's if it's going to be all one fund, then it's got to be called one thing, and then I can take it all out of there. But if I'm not going to know when something comes in, whether it's matching or non-matching, and to know what GL to take it out of if we put all three.
So listen though, She said that we don't document anything in the GL except for our portion of the matching.
Okay,
So that's one line with how much we spend out of the general fund to the road commission.
So description's going to be just road fund and put it all under one?
Put it all under one, under our portion of matching funds for road.
Okay, go back to the expenditure. Think about the expenditure. How many lines was it? 1, 2, 3?
For the you're only having an expenditure.
I know, but we had it under matching and non-matching at the last digits, 44600, 44601. One was not matching and one was matching. So now we're not going to keep it as separate general ledgers. It doesn't matter if it's matching or non-matching.
No, because the only thing that we should be documenting is our money that we are spending out of the general fund.
Okay, so dust control and road improvements were already in there. I added 3 more because you had 3 on your sheet. But now I'm going to take those 3 and combine them into one, and it doesn't matter what it is.
Correct, because it should only be our portion of the matching funds that we spend out of the general fund.
But it still doesn't make sense because you had on your description non-matching, matching,
Laura,
please matching.
I understand that. And then we talked about it. And then after the meeting, I called Shelly and talked with Shelly. I sent you the email that Shelly, the CPA, said, no, do it this way. It should not be documented like that. It should not be in the general ledger as revenue. And you should not document an expenditure that you didn't expend. So she said, tell Laura to do it this way with this GL. If you would like to follow up with Shelly, you can do that. I'm passing along the information to make it correct.
I'll correct. But I do want to say you gave me 3 separate figures, so that's kind of hard.
Correct. When we budgeted during that meeting, there were 3. There's the matching and the non-matching. Now we're just using to document what we spend out of our bank, not what county is giving us.
And people are commenting like crazy.
All right, any other questions on that? All right, the resolution and ordinance for the solid waste removal. I have contacted county. I have contacted the library, which is still closed. I have contacted Homer Township, and we cannot find the resolution and ordinance for setting up the fee for trash removal in Lee Township. I have looked in our ordinance book, and it is not there. Does anybody on the board know where this is or where we can find it?
You're coming to this meeting now looking
No.
for it?
No.
I spoke to a few residents today because they called me after getting a FOIA request from a gentleman stating that he wanted records of the vote when the curbside versus the waste management years ago to give people that choice. My understanding, and I'm going to work and see what I can find out with it, but I have had numerous residents tell me that they specifically remember voting on voting day as to whether they had the waste transfer station or went to curbside. And I followed up with somebody, I'm not going to mention her name, but she has worked on the voting for more than 40 some years, she said she does remember that it did go to a vote a long time ago, that the people voted, and both times curbside was voted down and the waste transfer stayed open.
Okay. That doesn't help me with my question. Do we know where these documents are?
No, but I'm going to work on it now that it's been brought to my attention with the public.
Okay. It should have been published in the paper. The library is willing to see if they can grant one person permission from the board to go in there and look through their files, or if they can get permission from their manager to have one of their employees do it. The resolution would have been put into place sometime around 1983. And there may have been another one somewhere around 90 to 94, or another something, because the last ordinance that we have, last update, was 1998. But that doesn't state anything as far as a resolution for how much it was going to cost or anything of that nature. That is just what can be done at the dump, who can take what. It still states that Homer Township residents can utilize the dump. So we need to find where the cost was established. Right now, county has it as a fee, a service fee, not even an assessment. So
Christy,
those records.
Christy, if this was at the county clerk's office, she would have voting records on that.
Correct.
If she doesn't, the state should too.
All right, any other comments from the board on that? All right, moving on. So, EGLE violations. I had a long conversation with Lori Babcock, and she stated that we still had open violations from last year that hadn't been closed out. She said that when she went to the waste transfer station, everything looked a lot better than what was described in those citations from last year. She is new to the area. This was her first time there. So she said she was closing those out, that she understood that the waste transfer station was closing. So her main concern at that point was the pile of tires. She estimated between 750 and 1,000. She said that you are not supposed to have over 500 on the property. And I did tell her that Darla had been working on, our trustee Darla had been working on getting some grants for possible removal of them, or trying to set up a resident tire removal. In discussions with her, it was determined that because we do have a sign up at the dump that says $2 per tire, we really shouldn't be getting a grant for them, because money could have been collected for them. And with our 2007 motion that the tire salvage rights were given to Mr. Eastman, those tires are technically Doug's. He can remove them from the property and cut them up off property and bring them back and put them in the dumpsters, but he cannot cut them up on the property.
Why?
That's due to the insurance liability.
Oh, whatever.
I believe Darla, and she'll talk here in a second to fill us in, is still pushing forth with a grant to try to get them removed.
Darla can
I
write
believe
a
that
grant
was
by
submitted.
herself?
So Darla, you can go ahead and fill everybody
Darla
in
can write a grant by herself?
I'll be glad to.
She can write a grant by herself.
We went through EGLE, okay, and got an application online. We filled that out, and that's already been sent in. That was sent in March 13th, the 21st. We also asked about tire collection and the mosquito control and the Midland County Volunteer
Stop it.
of recyclers are collecting them in Porter in May. Okay, they said that if they don't fill the trailer, that we can call for an appointment and bring 10 tires at a time. If it's filled, then we probably won't be able to take any there, but we will be sure and call in the morning for a possible appointment and stand by as volunteers to help load a trailer and take them over there 10 at a time. But just
Who's she gonna
remember,
get to volunteer? It
rules
ain't
may
gonna be none
change
of
as
us.
we go, because that is an Eagle DNR event. Okay, we also scheduled a May and 2022 a scrap tire drive by Mosquito Control in Lee Township. And Mosquito Control is the grant holder for this. C&M Technologies in Coleman will provide a trailer that will haul 1,000 tires to Coleman. The cost is $2 per tire. Tires on rims are an additional
Stop
50 cents
now.
per tire.
Go.
Large truck tires are counted as 5 passenger tires. C&M Technology will take any tire up to 4 feet high and 12 inches wide. But they will not take mutter tires. They will not accept them.
Mutter tires, like
Mutters. I'm assuming that means tractor. I call them tractor tires because they're more than 4 feet high. Big vehicle tires. We're going to need volunteers to load.
Not happening.
C&M will count the tires and unload them. And 1,000 tires
You lost your
will
hill.
be let's see. If less than 1,000, it will go back to the state, okay? We asked for a
Andrea's.
grant for $2,000,
She's
which
not
means
listening.
we have
Andrea's
enough
not.
for 1,000 tires that they will accept and pay for. And I realize
Barton
that's up in the
Proctor.
air because of what you just said, Christy.
She's not there.
Okay.
She's doing the
If
chat
it's
thing.
less than 1,000 tires, we can send whatever money we don't use back to the state with a note that they were unused scrap tire money. A template is available to gauge the height and width of acceptable tires. You have any questions? Nope. Any questions from board members? So we will need to, we have not received the written, I'm assuming, Laura, we haven't received that in the mail yet from Lori?
No.
Okay. Our time starts ticking when we receive that. I would like to try to get a head start on this. These are not only things that need to be taken care of because of it, but they need to be taken care of in general. Regardless if the waste transfer station closes or stays open, we need to get a handle on it. So, thank you for looking into that, Darla. So, next up on the agenda is the MIOSHA violation. I had over an hour conversation yesterday when Jamie Cabasa reached out. And we're looking at 7 violations total, 3 of which are considered serious with a potential of 1 serious. And the remaining 3, and depending on what the
Where's the proof?
4th one turns out to be, are non-serious. Now the difference between serious and non-serious are serious hold fines attached to the citation. The non-serious, they just hold the citation where you have to come up with a plan and you have to implement that with no fine attached, both of which stay on your record. So right now we're looking at potentially 21,000. There's 7,000 apiece. He did state that when he closes out the final report, he needed some more information to be able to do so that he could present it to his manager on Monday.
She called.
And then he was hoping to
I
get
got
with
proof.
me
She
on
called me.
Tuesday or Wednesday to go over it.
But why would he lie? to
Let us
all of
know
our
what we
people
need to
and
do
to
moving
Laura
forward. We have
and make
15
this
days
stuff up
after
to
he
her?
closes that out with
He
us
didn't.
to move to get these things fixed,
Total different story. what she
implemented,
says.
and to pay the fines. So
Yesterday, I guess.
that's what
She
I
was
know
mad that he talked to Laura.
right now.
and we will know more after he makes his final decision on what's going to be serious, what's going to be. Oh, he also did say that he was going to make contact with Lori Babcock. He was concerned about a shed. I've never seen the shed, so I thought there was only the garage, but apparently there's a shed somewhere near where the side of the water tower that has oil or something stored in it, 10 gallons of oil. So he wanted to discuss that with Lori. I was unaware of that shed. I didn't know that was there. So we will know more when the plan is all, or the report is all put together. But in the meantime, we do need the information that he requested as far as if Doug and Dave have ever turned in expenditure receipts to be reimbursed for PPE.
You're supposed to provide it.
And if the township has ever purchased any PPE for the waste transfer station for the employees.
Answer is no to both of them. And I spoke with Jamie. When you're done, I'd like to say something too.
Sure.
So I'm free to say something.
Sure.
I spoke with Jamie and he mentioned there would be a few citations, but nothing that could not be rectified, nothing that was serious, no reason to close the waste transfer based on his findings. These were all things that could be handled and rectified easily, and that it would not amount to closing of the waste transfer station.
I did not say that he was closing it. So, but thank you for adding that to that. That is correct. He did not say that it needed to be shut down. So, all right. Anything else from any board members on that?
Yes. When you guys get the reports, can you please email that to the board members?
Yeah, we want to see it.
They will be going to the hall, so I would hope that Laura, she had already said that she would, so I think she will.
Yep.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Who's that?
All right, so the plan moving forward with those violations, are we all in agreement that we need to start moving on them now, the ones that we know about? That
No, you don't have the
we need to do
report.
stuff, such as the tires and stuff moving forward.
No. You don't have a
The
report.
plan- What, Lawrence?
I was gonna say, are we going to make Doug start cleaning up the stuff that he has rights to? So
I
we
can't-
can get some.
Stu, mute yourself.
I said,
What,
are we
Lawrence?
going to start having Doug clean up what he is in control of and what he has rights to, so we can start cleaning up the dump site?
Yes.
Okay.
Why would Lawrence ask that? Why did
The
Lawrence
plan
ask
moving
that?
forward with Republic, or I guess I should say curbside, is,
No, you mean
as I
Republic.
said in the email to the board on Monday and to Laura, that has been put on hold. All those plans have been taken off. So the only thing still open is that dump is closing on April 1st, but we have nothing in place of it. We have to find where it says how much and how we are assessing the residents for payment. As of right now, we don't have anything. We need to find that ASAP. That is a huge, huge piece of this. That will determine how we move forward on any of it. I know there's the meeting tomorrow. I know that people are saying they want it closed. I know they are saying they want it open. I know this. We can't do anything until we have our correct records.
Therefore, you can't close it.
Republic has taken everything off the table. The only thing we have with them is their current contract for the waste transfer station. That goes up, correct me if I'm wrong, Laura, it goes up by the 3% in August?
I don't have anything. The only thing I have in the records are what you gave me that Republic had that was back from Ron's time. And that was
So if you can remember, every year when we get the invoices, Isn't
Oh,
it
it was
generally
on
a bigger
the
increase?
Yep, it was on the invoice, and I pointed that out to everybody. I can't remember exactly when it was and what percent it had gone up. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
I can go back and look at the Republic's invoice and find it to let you know what it is. But everybody got that invoice too, so I'll make myself a note to go find it.
I got another question. So if we still have a contract with the weigh station, why are we still closing the weigh station if we have nothing to supplement it on April 1st?
You also have no money to continue fixing it and repairing it, Lawrence. You have to give me, you have to figure out a plan that
Well, hopefully-
355,000 of what we agreed upon, and it doesn't matter if you voted no, we have to know how much it's going to cost. Currently, for Republic, with where we are, not Republic, with the transfer station, with the, hold on just a second. So if we start out at the 101,934 that we have currently in the bank, we add in our delinquent property taxes that we're expected to get, which is $24,438.
Lay down. Lay down.
Subtract our MIOSHA fines for $21,000. Subtract the city of Midland last quarter, as of right now, with still 2 weeks remaining, is $18,768. Republic at halfway through the month with still 2 weeks remaining is $15,488. That means that we're going to be left without, and that doesn't include payroll or anything else that is in there. Those are strictly just those three costs, not anything else overhead. That's going to bring us to having $71,116 to move forward and pay for next year. Everything else has to come out of the general fund. I have spoke with the Midland Foundation. I have spoke with Strostracker Foundation. I have reached out to Gerstracker. All three of those, well, two of those specifically, have stated that they cannot or don't suggest that we apply for the funding for this because of the history that is shown in the finances of the waste transfer station. It's not financially stable, and I have those emails if you would like me to share those.
See them.
Yes.
I'm with you.
I also spoke with the lawyer that said, you can do a millage. But if you do a millage, it's going to take 2 to 3 years in order to get that funding to come in, just like the fire barn. And if you actually look at it, because of the Headley Fund, correct me if I'm wrong, William, that is why when we collect 2 mil, we really only get the 0.82 whatever from it. That is also one of the reasons why you don't want to have too much excess in a fund, because then, because of that act, they can come in and they can make you dwindle it down or take it. Bill, you can explain that a little better.
I doubt it.
They'll make you use that up and knock your millage down to match.
Okay. In order to get a loan, we have to set up just like they did for the water district. So you would have to have a amortization schedule. You would have to be able to set up the special assessment fee just like that. If our costs continued to go up, as far as the city landfill and Republic, you then could not adjust that because you set up that assessment to be for this loan, and you can't collect more money on top of it. So there's no way to set that to be a fixed amount like it was for the water district. If there's any other things that, you guys have looked into, I hear a lot that I'm a dictator and I'm making all these decisions. Everybody on this board was aware of this November 27th when my email went out.
Actually had
Lauren,
conversations.
I'm talking. Correct. Oh, yes, you did.
I hounded you to get after the employees then to start checking dump cards and to start fixing what we could fix.
We
and
don't
you kept
have
telling
dump
me that
cards.
you were looking into it.
We do.
I got a
got
dump card
one.
that
I do too.
I have a dump card. So if you guys have dump cards, that's wonderful. But does Doug have them? Because Doug tells me that he doesn't have Doug cards to give out.
Doug permitted it to us. Doug gave us.
I'm sorry, but this is the board conversation. Public comment will come.
He's the one that gave it to him. And if he doesn't have them, back in November, we should start supplying it to him so we can start fixing back in November, like I suggested over the phone.
Okay.
You kept telling me you were on it. You were on it.
When I talked to Doug and I asked him.
Go for it.
So when I talked to Doug and I ask him these things and he tells me that he doesn't have them, he hasn't charged the $5 fee like in our ordinance for years. That went away a long time ago. He doesn't have any of that thing. He doesn't have any of that nature. He doesn't have the receipts. Therefore,
just called her a control freak. And
what would you like me to do, Lawrence? You tell me right now.
As the supervisor over the employees, you should be overseeing them. And if they need dump cards, you get dump cards. And if we have an ordinance on the books that says they need to charge $5, and we need to buy a lockbox for it, we should have bought a lockbox back in November. And you telling him, if somebody shows up and they don't have a dump card and they don't live in the township, you remove them. If they need a dump card, you charge them the $5, and you issue it, you put it in the dump into the lockbox, and it should have been going back to the hall at least every night, if not every other day. We could have been making progress, like I spoke to you over the phone back in November, but you kept telling me that you were on it, or you didn't want to.
And I have been talking to Doug. I have been working on these things.
Well, why haven't you been enforcing these policies on the employees?
In 6 weeks.
Do you have we don't have any policies on employees right now. That's why we were working on the policy manual.
Okay, first of all, I have one thing to say to Lawrence. Our caretaker at the dump is not allowed to collect money. Only the treasurer and the clerk.
Correct.
Okay, so he could have guided them to the hall for Laura to get a dump card. Laura's there almost every day besides Saturday. We could have put something back in place when I was on the phone with Chrissy 2 or 3 times about this. I even offered to go down to the hardware store and buy a lock myself to put on the gate to fix the first problem, and she told me that wasn't necessary.
Doug said that he was doing it.
Where are you as a supervisor over our employees enforcing him to do it, to where if he doesn't want to do it, you should be there enforcing that? You are the supervisor.
You are correct. I am the supervisor, and I have spoke to him several times.
Not in 6 weeks.
So what other suggestions? You can go there too, Lawrence. You can call out things that you see.
And I have.
He did.
When I was there last, somebody tried bringing another boat in. I was there for 30 minutes talking with the gentleman that's not the place to be. That's not where it needs to go. It needs to go to the city landfill.
Okay.
But again, me as not being the supervisor, I can't enforce the employees to enforce any policies or say, hey, we don't want this here. That's your job as a supervisor to go in and say, hey, don't do this anymore. If I catch it again, there's going to be consequences.
So has there been another boat taken in?
No.
I sent it away.
Okay. I had told Doug that there would be no more boats. I went and talked with the owner of the last boat, and in fact, I talked with them yesterday when they called to ask if now that it was cut up, could they take it? Because Doug had said if it was cut up, they could bring it and put it in there. And I called the gentleman to tell him no, that I would prefer he took it to the dump. And when he answered the phone, he said, oh, Christy, I took it to the dump. The landfill, the city landfill, not the dump. I completely understand. I shouldn't put it in there with the cost. So had he done that, I'd have said something. Had that guy left the boat, I'd have said something.
He cut it up and took it to our dump.
I have something to say, if I may.
Go for it.
that email that you sent out November 27th started out with all of what you said were your findings that were wrong with the waste transfer station. Then it went down. It was a very lengthy email, and it went down, and it also stated in that email to keep all these findings to the 5 of us board members.
Correct.
Till you had everything figured out.
Correct.
Okay?
Then we discussed it in the meeting.
I'm not finished yet. Then a couple sentences down further, you said what needs to be done is a special meeting called between the board members and the public to resolve this situation. Then a few more sentences down, and how it appeared to me, and this is my personal opinion, your statement about it made it appear for you to be above being the one to work on the policies and procedures. Well, Christy, you're the one that scheduled those workshops to work on the policies and procedures. Those should have been last. This waste transfer station should have been brought to the public. You went into this job knowing what was wrong at the waste transfer station. You and Darla and Bill and I were all on the last board. It never came up. You went into this job description knowing what was wrong. You did not give us the chance to bring anything to the table, to have people work with us. You slid it under the rug. March 8th, I said I didn't know anything about it, and somebody called Lawrence and I out on that, saying that we did, because you sent us that email back in November. I had forgotten about it, and I don't like being called a liar from someone that knows you, because I had forgotten about that. I was talking about the circle of time around the March 8th meeting. You did not give me and Lawrence the time of day to research, to look at. I got your budget stuff Monday morning, the 8th, just like I got the GAA within a couple of days. A couple of days to study and look is not enough. It's not. And
So all
this.
So all the information that we discussed in December at that meeting, the 25 or 28 minute long discussion that we had on that, that doesn't count towards anything. That wasn't brought out in the public. It wasn't talked about. I know after that, Lawrence and I had another conversation, and he was looking at refurbished contractor prices. When after that first email, did I not say, bring it to the attention, do something about it?
Well, she exaggerates all the numbers.
I have something to say. Laura, do you remember when we got, this was before Christy took over, we got 3 bills from Speed Wrench in 1 month. Pretty good sized bills.
Oh,
That should have been a
700.
sign to you that was in trouble.
I got a preventative maintenance from them, and I was told from a reliable source that Christy was at was with Doug at the time. Speed Wrench was there. That's preventative maintenance, Darla. Preventative maintenance needs to be done all the time. You do preventative maintenance at your home, all right?
I was at the dump with Doug and Republic and Speed Wrench when they requested the meeting, which inspired that email.
So why wasn't the meeting scheduled? But from Speed Wrench, they said they had the stuff on their truck to fix a switch that has been malfunctioning, where the guys have to stand there and hold it, and your reply to them was, nope, don't do it.
That is not true. I asked Bill if he had the panel. They do not make the parts for that anymore. is what he told me, to replace that whole panel. So with the compactor being in the condition that it's in and needing to be replaced,
No.
if we replace a switch and not the whole panel that needs to be replaced and spend $7,000 when the entire compactor needs to be replaced, how financially smart is that?
I got another 14 on mine.
We're going to waste $7,000? But back to why this wasn't addressed. Let's think about our timeline.
You guys need to wrap this up so that people can talk.
Yeah, I'm done. I don't know that there's anything more that needs discussed because it's just going to continue to. We're in a whirlwind situation and we need to figure out what to do. And I think the only thing to do with this is to bring residents in and sit down. I don't know any other way.
Question?
And Bill?
Is there a reason we can't go ahead and put an ordinance in place, like, you know, the one we can't find, like the other townships have had for doing, you know, their fees for their solid waste handling? And then we can have a resolution for setting the fee, whatever it is, whether it's curbside or whether it's the fee to maintain the compactor. Can't we, you know, that's an ordinance we can pass at any time. We could pass one a day if we wanted to, right?
That is correct. Gary has not sent back the ordinance or the resolution that I had put together to send out to everybody to see what they thought, to get their thoughts on it.
Why did she create an ordinance?
Hopefully he does.
Nobody
or he
gets
might
to do
have
anything.
before I
She
get
does
out of work. I can send that out, but we
And then
still
hides
need
it.
to figure out where this old one is and what is going on. But we do need a new one regardless.
Agreed.
Of course you would.
Who's that?
Bill.
What do you say?
So would you like me to put that on the agenda for Monday?
Oh, they're still meeting Monday?
Yes.
So I was under the understanding that we were not going to meet on Monday. That is what today was for. So nothing has been posted. What time?
That's what we need to discuss, and they only have to be 18 hours with the agenda 2 hours prior.
I realize that, Christy. I was just asking you. I thought Monday was gone with doing this today.
And I have stated all along that it hasn't been.
Here we go
This
again.
is
Now,
how
Lawrence
we're paying
starts a
50
new
bucks
job
a pop
on Monday.
every time they do this crap.
So he won't be able to do early. What's the earliest you can do, Lawrence?
Says I told you in the email earlier this week, I can do anything after 4 o'clock.
What time works for you, Laura?
I'm open, so I'm available anytime.
William?
I'm open anytime.
Darla?
I'm open anytime.
Some people are saying 6 p.m. She won't even look at the chats.
So do you want to do 5:30?
I'm seeing a 6 o'clock going across the screen a couple times.
I'm asking the board.
I'm
good at 5:30.
What, Lawrence?
I'm good anytime 5:30. That'd be fine.
So is that the consensus then?
That is. I will send you the link. We are out of compliance with that last posting that you posted. I did ask you to use one of the previous ones and integrate the information in there, and you used just what I sent in the email. That does not give the special OMA and EO orders in it. So I would appreciate if you make the next one in compliance with that as the request. I know that I have been doing them that is part of the clerk's duties to do. And I was just really, really upset about that, Laura.
We don't care.
You didn't even take my name off that had been there twice. So
I took
if you can make
yours.
sure that it gets posted.
I took your post. That's what I understood you to mean. My apologies. So.
And then if we can make sure, I know that Marie has been sick and then she was out of Michigan for a while. So you being the only one with access besides Marie to publish on the Facebook page as Lee Township, if you could please
she's claiming she can't do it now.
to work with Marie, or if you see that it hasn't been posted 2 hours before, get that on there.
You know
as
for a
well.
fact she was the one that was
Thank you.
doing the page. Now she's claiming it's just Laura.
All right. Any other questions about the meeting for Monday?
So you have to give me the link, right, Christy, and then I'll put it all together, correct?
Yes, I will send it to you just like I did.
Okay, if you can get it to me, I'll get it, probably go tomorrow after the meeting and do it. So if you could email that to me, I'd appreciate it.
I will do that. The meeting for tomorrow, Saturday, I'm meeting with Pastor Dave tonight at 6:30. We are going to make sure that we have some audio so that those in the back will be able to hear. This is a meeting of the electors. It is not a meeting for the board. So it's kind of role reversal. The board is going to call the meeting to order, and then the board becomes the public. The public can then speak. I believe there's 4 groups. We've got some awesome groups actually working together, and they've been in contact as far as I know, and keeping me in the loop.
4 groups?
And 2 are going to be presenting
Christy's group and 3 others.
for keeping the jump open, and I believe 2 are presenting to move to curbside
That
or
would be
whatnot.
one of Christy's groups.
They do have an agenda that was also sent out to us. I'm not sure if Tom Kling is on, but he had sent, maybe that's Tom K. Tom K, are you Tom Kling?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Tom. Am I correct that you sent out the final agenda for tomorrow?
I did not send it out beyond yourself, Laura, and the 4 individuals that are kind of the contact people named. The last email I had gotten from you said that I should send it to you so that it could be published.
Okay. So, Laura, did you see that email?
Yes, I have it, and I can forward that to Bill and Darla. You got it? Is that what I heard Tom say? You and I got it, or just me?
Yes. We need to get that on the
Yep,
Facebook page.
Okay, I can do that after we're done here.
Yep. And then, William, you
I
will
don't
need to
think
get
anybody
that
else
on
is-
the,
Not to interrupt Christy, his is the only one I have. I don't have Deb's or the other 2.
the agenda is for everybody. Those
No.
are the rules of the day.
This, what Tom gave me, is the agenda for Deb and the other 2? Or is it?
What I sent, Laura, what I sent is in 2 formats, PDF and PowerPoint, but it is a 3-page agenda.
And that includes everyone.
That includes everyone.
Okay, perfect. I will post this when we get off. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
So then during the meeting, that agenda gives us a guideline to follow, and some guidelines for essentially the electors. They're not really public, and defines the groups,
Honey, let Brandon
the
know
time
that
limits that
I'm
they
on
have to
this.
speak, and
He's
then
called
as
3
well as any
times.
individuals that want to speak on behalf of it. It does state in there as well, it's not a question and answer for the board. It is similar to public comment, which is just that, public comment. Am I missing any? And then we close it. The board does. So those are the only 2 things that the board is allowed to do motion-wise, is to make a motion to open the meeting and a motion to close the meeting, and then we chair it.
And perhaps perhaps amongst yourselves, you'll want to decide whom is going to be the timekeeper. I understand that Laura is going to be recording all the input, yes?
Yes.
But then in order to make sure that we switch from one person to the next and that the board gets time to ask its questions of the individuals who have spoken.
Okay.
You'll need to have someone run the clock for you all.
Lawrence, would you like to do that? Or would you do that?
I think they lost Lawrence.
Why wouldn't
There's
somebody?
Sorry, my
119
phone wasn't
people.
unmuting. Yeah, I can run the stopwatch on my cell phone
Plus
once
the
I know the
16.
time limits.
Okay.
I'll be more than happy to.
All right.
So Christy, question.
Yeah.
The only thing that I have the capability of recording is, yes, I'm recording this right now on my laptop, is my handheld digital recorder. If
Okay.
there's something else that somebody's wanting me to record like we're recording now, I guess I'm not as...
No, you'll just need to take the minutes. I believe that's what we had discussed, and that's what Tom is implying to, we don't have to have like video equipment.
I'm going to bring my digital recorder because I guess what I would ask, and you can pass this on, Tom, is when I'm taking minutes, if the four different groups are talking, if anybody after that is talking, I would please ask them to state their name as well as spell their name. So if I have to go back to my digital recorder, if I don't get it, I've got it on my digital recorder. So.
I will do that. I have flip chart paper laid out here. After this meeting, I'm going to make like a wall chart that has everything on it that is in the...
There's gonna be no vote tomorrow. This is just a new...
Could you please mute yourself?
And so...
Thank you.
Yes, and so I'm going to hang those up ahead of time. At the pavilion, there's kind of a overhead beam that I can hang them up so that they will be displayed for everyone. And in the set that I make up, I will add people need to identify and spell their name.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Yep, and I believe that they should be stating their address too.
Yes, very good. Name, its spelling, and their address.
Correct.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Chris, you have something to say when you're free.
Go ahead, darling.
Today, as I was going over the notes you sent about the violations, it came to my attention that we have had Doug and Dave working in that site, and I'm going to say forever because that's the way it seems to me. Our concern has not been for them. We have not provided them with gloves, masks, rubber boots, face shields. I'm going to say leggings, but I'm thinking of like my fire pants, a coat. We haven't even provided them with a bathroom. They had a little square building without a roof on it.
Yep.
And you're sitting here telling me how much you love this place, but we don't even care about them.
That's got to come first, Darla, 100%.
Yep.
Question for everybody on the board other than me. How long has everybody been serving on the board?
Darla and I are in our 5th year. I know that, but I can't remember for Christy.
I was appointed in October of 2017.
Okay, Lawrence, hammer them. I would hammer them.
Because my biggest problem as a new board member and as a newer resident to Lee Township is why haven't, like, this doesn't change. It's always been that way down there, and it's been a board issue. And everybody that's been on the board for more than one term, why hasn't this been an issue before?
Because the supervisor took care of it.
Yep. Because the supervisor never addressed it. So when things were,
Poor George.
like the DEQ violations, he would call everybody and say,
she's
we
still
got this, I'm
claiming
going
it.
to go talk to Doug and Dave. And
We've
he would
asked
go
to
and
see
talk
it,
to
but
Doug
she
and
won't
Dave,
provide
and
anything
we
to
would assume
anybody.
that it was taken care of on his end because that was his job.
She hasn't
When I
seen
had
Doug
gone
and Dave in
asked
6 weeks.
Doug and Dave, but Doug and Dave, do they have everything? What else do they need? Doug says, well, I kind of need a toilet. When I brought that up to the board, and I'm not calling you out, Laura, but what was the first thing you said? Well, why haven't they said something before?
I did. I remember saying that. You know,
and
how
the reason
on this long without them, because I didn't realize they didn't have one.
I don't think
neither did I.
Laura.
Oh.
So then I asked them, you don't have anywhere to, well, why not? Well, none of the other supervisors, none of the other board members came here and asked us if we needed anything. We saw them when they threw away their trash.
I truly did not realize it.
So that's why, Lawrence. I can say that Laura, Darla, myself, Bill, we all questioned George to contact Republic and find out why the costs just for Republic were increasing. I know that it was asked several times by several of us. Can we find out what's going on with the contract? Can we price this out and see what the price difference is between the way station and curbside, or look into other issues? Yeah, we'll give them a call. We'll find out. And it never happened. So when this was brought to my attention, which I didn't go looking for this, I didn't come in with knowledge that these things were wrong. I was brought to my attention. Now I'm trying to move forward and address it. And forgive me if you think I'm doing it the wrong way. It needs to be done. And not only, like Darla said, because of our employees, but also because of our residents, as far as financially speaking goes. This is not the first time that this dump has been in this instance.
No.
History is just repeating itself. And this would have moved faster, more public sooner after that December meeting if we didn't go through what we went through in January.
Oh, here we go. Now we're going to throw Jessica under the
We
bus.
still have holes in our accounts where we aren't plugging the numbers. They're not making sense.
Because Bill didn't
still
give
are
his stuff
looking at
over.
The general ledger as being off. We have to figure out all those things, but in the long run, we don't have the funds to continue operating the dump.
Yeah, you do.
Question.
Yes,
If we don't have funds to operate the dump, how do we have funds to go to curbside? It's kind of like, okay, we don't have funds, we don't have funds.
Okay, so we have to borrow from general either way. The funds or the fixes, the repairs, the things that we have to fix for the dump, the replacement of the compactors, the gating, throw up some railings. I know some things are small.
And you don't need
those
railings.
compactors are big. That's going to be a huge
Yours,
cost.
the guy worked over that.
If we were to go with a refurbished, that's fine, but that's
She's
what
trying to
this
replace
one
the
was.
whole
So if we look at the
compactor.
cost
We don't
over
need
the
it
years and what
replaced.
we've put into it, if it's truly something that we're going to sustain and show that in 10 years we still have
133 people.
to
In addition
claim
to
for
these
our,
16.
asset, that its depreciation is still there of value,
The ones on screen.
then we
There's no
should go
fucking
with
value on it, you
doing
dumb bitch.
a good one,
You're
a
not
new
selling
one.
it.
All of that would come out of general, same as if we went to curbside. The difference is with curbside, we have, for the time being, 3 charges. That would be the provider that was picking it up at the road, the city landfill, and an extra added fee spread out to recollect what we spent out of general fund. Once that amount is paid back, we would only have the 2, the city landfill and the waste service that was picking it up at the end of our driveway. The waste service would be a fixed cost. So each year we would know, oh, that's going to be a budget line of $20. And then we would look at the city landfill charge and say, okay, well, last year, that was $8, so we might want to move it up to $9. We would have that ability. Currently, with the waste transfer station, which will not change, it doesn't matter if it's Republic or GLF or whomever. It is by container.
You can't see the chat,
So
honey.
the compactor container.
There's
When that
chats up
rolls
at the top
off of
the
there from
screen.
Republic and they take it up to the dump, that's automatically $439 from Republic. Then once they enter the city landfill dump, that's another charge, which I think is like $3.83 or something. It's $8.50 per crushed cubic square yard. So essentially that container is about $800. The ones in the back, same thing. I think they're $429, and then the recycling is
One of them said, "Don't let
something."
these numbers
But there's
confuse
another
you."
fee at
She's
the landfill.
repeating false numbers.
So this week we might take out 7 of those containers, and next week we might only take out 4. Then the next week we might take out 3, and then the following week we may take out 10. There's no way to say how much. The trucks also have better compactors in them. Believe it or not, it is true. So when they're compacting that, it's cheaper for the dump at the city landfill cost versus what ours are compacting. The dump essentially was never set up to be able to take in somebody's roof or somebody's cut up boat or you redo your building material. The dump was never set up just to collect all that because while it is a convenience to us as residents, it's also an added charge. So I'll say again, the person that brought the boat to the landfill, the dump the first time, and
I talked
went
to that
and spoke
guy.
with him to remove
She's
it.
lying right through her teeth.
He didn't know that if he got that boat into the container, which it didn't fit, that wasn't just included, that there was another charge. So when he went there and put it in there in 3 pieces, which he didn't, he took it to the city,
No, he
that
didn't.
essentially would still fill that up. That's $800. While the cost should have never been lowered to $85 for this year, it should have went back up. That's $800 for one thing that was brought to the dump.
Okay.
So if you're taking your roof or you're taking your, drywall or whatever, it wasn't meant to be set up like that. If you look at the ordinance, it wasn't. It might be convenient because it's closer to our homes, but it increases our cost.
God, I love it when people compare apples to oranges.
So, like with Hamden Township, when they went and tried to save their waste transfer station and look at costs, they ended up having residents go to the clerk.
God, is she reading another
purchase
34-page
permit.
slideshow?
So every time they took in a big item, such as a couch or a chair or a bed, it was $15 extra.
There you go.
So you could take a couch, chair, and a bed, and it would be
If you took your couch or your chair,
$30,
it's another
$45 extra on top of what you pay for the year. Plus, they had it where you had to go in to see the clerk every year to renew your dump card for $100. So that tried to help them offset the cost. They didn't need new equipment. They didn't need all new ordinances and stuff. They already had that in place.
We don't need
So
to.
that's the big thing of how we would afford it, is because there's more set costs. It's more where we know it's not going to go up. It will go down.
Curbside's going
Whereas
to go
the dump,
up
there's
every
no
year.
guarantee that it will go down, and these things have to be repaired, and we can't
Everybody's going,
stretch
no, it
that.
won't. Not true.
Who?
People are commenting. Not
I
true.
still believe that
Have you
people
heard of
can come together
forecasting?
and figure something out, because if things are being taken in there from contractors, other townships, we as board members are responsible to make sure that it doesn't happen because they don't pay taxes here. You know, is it something that we get an automatic gate that opens with your driver's license, or, you know, an in-gate and out-gate? I don't know exactly what we can do, but we have to try to throw these ideas out on the table and not just because it's less expensive to go curbside. That's not even taking into consideration what it would take to clean the place up. And then is it really something that can be utilized for the fire station like has been mentioned? I'm not sure. That's where everybody, more heads put together, are better than just the 5 of us. We need
I understand what you're saying and where you're coming from, and I completely agree. My thing is where are these funds going to come from?
Well, where are they going to come from to pay curbside? We don't have them.
Okay, so where are they going to come from to repair these costs and do the dump? What is the end result of what the residents will have to pay?
We're going to have to pay no matter what.
I understand that.
I personally, I would be willing to pay $400 a year to get back on track where we need to be, and then readjust it after it needs to be that way. And I guarantee you that checking with people, they would be willing to. And sure, there's going to be some people that can't afford that amount of money, but you know what? The public could take up and have a fund and bring it, do it as a restricted donation for the waste transfer station, that when it came time and people couldn't pay that extra fee, we'd have it there to help them cover it.
There's other ways around it.
But that fee comes in our taxes. So
no, it ain't. She's talking
I guess my argument against that would be, we already have a water assessment on our taxes. If you apply for a poverty exemption on your taxes, and if it's all or partial, that does not include the water assessment or the solid waste. So after March 1st, the tax roll is handed over to the county. Then that gives county we sign it over to them so that come July, we get our funds. We're guaranteed our funds. So they collect interest from those accounts that haven't paid. Those are then, after 3 years, they go into foreclosure.
She's trying to make it fuzzy.
So I have a hard time saying that somebody's going to have $400 more on top of the $400 more that they have to pay for their water assessment if they're truly having a hardship, which they have to show their hardship. They don't just get one. They have to show finances.
Restricted fund for that.
So my problem is I know that there are people out there that are not going to feel comfortable asking for that. And you might have money in there now, but there's no endowment saying that money is going to replenish itself. So come 10 years from now,
there's no way to know if it's going to snow tomorrow. It could snow.
But the costs of waste removal are rising. If you look at 10 years ago versus what the cost is now, there's an increase. It's going to increase.
Yeah, but so would curbside though, Christy.
I understand that, but that is a cost that we can regulate.
You can regulate the dump too with proper management of employees and policies and procedures.
I feel that it's time for us as a board to close up our conversation.
One lady
because right now I know
$3 per
there's
parcel.
73 people on this Zoom meeting that would like to say a few things.
There are 73
So-
people that would like to see it.
Well, I
Yeah,
would
but
just
just
like
drop
to
down
close
to
with
20.
too that this is a meeting of the board, Laura, and we need to discuss these things. So when else are we going to discuss them?
We have made no headway on anything today. Not trying to be disrespectful, but we haven't.
Looped right back around to our midnight meeting.
We've addressed that there are infractions at the waste transfer station, but we have come to no conclusions. Nothing has changed after this meeting today. So if you're
we'll
not
go ahead
willing,
and move into public comment. Laura, you have the. Do you want to go through it like you did last time?
I sure can. Let me
All right.
write the time first. All right, I don't know if this is going to give me from the beginning or the end of it. So I think it's
We were
going backwards.
136
This
people, and it
lady
dropped down to
said,
21.
leave it as it is until you figure it out. Extra cost, pros, cons, policies,
No, it tells you how many
You're
people are on
jumping
the
into
call.
it too quick.
That's how many people are on this call.
The
There was
next one said
136.
address it at the meeting tomorrow.
Unless that's 22
Or
chats. Let me see.
investigation is necessary other than just Christie's findings. So, so gonna let me
We're at
get
73 participants right now.
to the next one. There are lots willing to pay extra to keep the dump open. So I do feel that we need to address that, you know, go that route. So I see if it gets me to the next one. I have a gal that wants to know if she can personally speak now, other than me just reading these. You know, I mean, we've got like 70 some. I would rather not read them all. I guess I would like to, I think we have the ability
Are
to.
there people in there before that asked to speak in public comment?
Yes. Yep. So
Okay,
I
so
think,
to the ones
can
that
people
asked
just
to speak,
raise a hand? Can they not just raise a hand? First one to raise a hand?
they can, but if they've already sent a request.
She's fucking the meeting again.
Joanne Lee, I see she wants to speak. Rob wants to speak, so Joanne?
Yeah, I'm really a little bit challenged. I work for a Fortune 500 company. I support multiple Fortune 500 companies. Forecasting is a part of what we do, looking at past history of cost, and I'm really struggling with the fact that there's no breakdown, there's no understanding, and there's no forecasting going on. What is your guys' plan to look at all of our costs, pre-forecast what's been in the past, what do we see happening, and how is that going to affect us overall?
Because Christy didn't know how to do it.
You want to answer that, Christy?
It's supposed to be public comment right now, not public question.
You don't want it. Okay, so that's.
We're going to put them all together, and then we will address those questions at the Monday meeting.
Okay. Rob Appel?
I gotta walk outside. I'm tired of her idiocy.
Rob, are you there?
Actually, it's his wife, Yasna.
Oh, Yasna, hello.
I have two questions. However, I guess I'm going to be limited at that based on what Christy has said. I specifically wanted to know, when did you receive the finalized report for the citations that you're claiming you have, both for OSHA and for Eagle? And comment also that I have, I guess I'm not going to get an answer to that because I know the answer to that because the final report has not been issued because I spoke with both of them. The other comment that I have and any conversation about penalties regarding any government agency is speculation and putting fear into this community unnecessarily. The other comment that I have is I hold all board members responsible for lack of communication to the public because as a matter of public knowledge, I have an email from November 27th of 2020 where the supervisor specifically asked all board members to keep things quiet from the public from November of 27th about investigations into the waste station. I don't think that it's appropriate that the public was in the dark since November of 2020, and that it was only alerted in a detailed form with a presentation on March 8th, and then immediately rushed to place a vote without having a chance to think for public opinion. That is an alarming flag on all board members. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next I see Sharon Bridson. Sharon, are you there?
Yep, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I can.
Okay. Christy, you and I had a brief conversation via phone.
Oh, did she mute her?
Oh, you cut out. Can somebody let her know I can't hear her?
Sharon, 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 Sharon. We can't hear you, Sharon.
Oh, I know her.
Yeah, but she should be allowed to speak tomorrow
They've already got their agenda.
by one of the groups.
Whoever's managing the meeting can unmute her, as the leader.
It's not letting me. It says that she is unmuted. I can only mute her.
Christy, can unmute her? So is Christy saying I muted her?
Somebody just had recently put their hand up to speak, but it's disappeared on my computer, so I
She's
have no
muted.
idea who it was.
Oh, her husband's in there.
Sharon, Sharon, we can't hear you. Sharon, nobody can hear you.
Maybe if
Okay,
everybody
let's come
waves
back
at her,
to
she'll
Sharon.
pick it up.
Yeah,
says
she
she's
said she's
unmuted.
unmuted, but something's happened to her. So if there's anybody else that wants to speak,
Sharon, did you have headphones plugged in earlier? No?
Can you hear me?
yes.
Here, try that. I'm her husband.
Okay, husband.
This is Sharon. Can you hear me?
Yes. It's echoing a little bit, but yes, I can hear
walk
you.
away from my computer. So what I was kind of asking about was, Christy and I, we had a conversation a couple weeks ago. We were talking about cleaning up our community.
Don't fuck with
having
it.
our community look better. And so my concern is that we take away the dump. We start charging a lot of our citizens to have the trash picked up. If you see 7 Mile and West Oakland, our good.
Sharon, it's a really bad connection.
Honey, you gotta come back here.
Can everyone
Tell her
else
she
mute
come back.
that's not talking?
There are tons of trash in the woods.
I can't hear her.
Being muted.
Quit being in.
She probably needs to mute her computer if you're by your husband.
We can hear you on the phone. It's just you're too close to your computer. So walk in the other room.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, but there's still a squeal. So if you walk far away from your computer. Okay, try it now.
There. Hey, pass on, go to another person. I wait, waste of time.
Can you hear me now?
Go to the next person.
Can we go on to somebody else and see if Sharon can get hers fixed?
Can they hear you, Heidi?
Because I've got two other people that want to talk.
Come on, baby. Hi, honey.
Hey, baby.
Come here now.
Well, you need to write down.
Kirsty, do you want to type it and I'll write it down for the Q&A?
She only brings up one aspect
For
of the
her,
comment.
yeah, if she could, so we
That's
can
the
move on to somebody
actual
else,
candle
okay?
Send it in the chat, Sharon.
Where's our
Sher-
plastic gonna
Sherry
go?
Mose?
Where's our cardboard gonna go? Where's our paper
Oh,
gonna
you have to
go?
take it to Midland.
Where's the glass gonna go?
Midland.
Sherry, are
So
you
that's
there,
more
Sherry?
Everybody's gonna
Yeah,
know.
trying to
Or
unmute.
have another can, or increase
Go
our
ahead.
garbage output at the street that it's not gonna make, it's not gonna do it. It's not gonna do it.
I'd like to know, if you guys go down the other side of.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
They want.
Oh, good.
I said, Heidi, you need to
I
speak,
just
and I don't
wanted
know.
to pretty much reiterate the same thing I had on my text, was that we're really close to April 1st, and this seems not prepared for the potential problems we're going to have within a week. We at least got to keep the dump open until they got stuff situated, ready for this pickup, if that's what's going to happen. In the meantime, we have a whole lot of very unhappy people who have a lot of stuff that need to go to the dump from last year, and even some cases back from 2017 flooding. You know, as the case may be. Is there a problem that they cannot delay the closing beyond a 2-week window?
I think that's a good idea, and maybe that can be brought up for discussion, Sherry. I know that Christy's not wanting to only but hear your request, and that's something that I think needs to be brought to the table. So,
That's a big one, I think.
I totally agree. I mean, if it wasn't so fast, it'd be a little different.
And I can say that we can address that on Monday, but we can't address anything else that isn't on the agenda that's already been approved, so.
okay. All right, so we'll address that at Monday's meeting. Make sure you're there if you want to reiterate that. Dana McCann?
I don't want to.
Hi, Laura. Thank you. I just had a couple comments, and as somebody who's lived in this township my entire life, my parents as well, I've seen several statements of how curbside is going to benefit the elderly and the disabled, and I understand that there's a lot of people who feel it's an advantage to them, but I also feel like there's been so much negative conversation and not enough conversation about the fact that we all should have a say in this type of a large decision. We've had major decisions like this in the past. There's been a survey that has been mailed out to every resident in order for them to respond and give their own insight. And this just doesn't seem to happen anymore. For some reason, in the current board, it's like you guys just want to make a decision and push it through quickly before people notice it. And knowing now that there's been an email that stated, don't share this with the public, that just leads several of us to believe that there is unethical things going on, honestly. And to go back to the statements of that elderly or disabled people would benefit more from curbside, I can tell you my parents are both in their late 70s, and they are furious with this quick decision, and they have lived in this township their entire life. They don't want to haul a huge dumpster out to the end of their driveway, 3/4 of a mile back. If they have to haul all their trash out that far, they might as well take it to the dump. It's going to be difficult for anybody that has the dirt driveways, a longer driveway, to be able to handle that. It's also going to create a lot of refuse mess for those of us who live up and down M20. We can't even keep a mailbox upright too. So to think that they're gonna be able to keep a trash bin at the end of our driveway without it getting knocked all over and spread out through the woods for the animals to dig into as well. So that's, another concern as well. But I really just feel like there's a lot that we need to have our own insight shared and considered, and not the agenda of individuals thrown upon us.
It's on your picture.
I like that.
Yep.
I like that.
All right, I'm not sure if there's
Her dad-
anybody else that's
her dad
wanting
is
to talk.
Incredible. Gary
I
is
see
incredible.
Caitlin
You wanna
Mose
talk?
has her hand
Huh? You
raised
wanna
in
talk?
Outlaw
No.
Express.
All right, no, I'm pissed. It wouldn't be good for me to talk right
Lynn
now.
Mose.
Somebody has something in the background that needs to be muted.
Chris Coughlin. We want to hear Chris Coughlin.
Get that thing muted.
75 is West Road.
Maybe if that's coming from Caitlin's, can she write it?
Also, we have Naomi Shore, who is one of our Elvis residents. I said she was
Caitlin,
We need to unmute, we need to mute all of the participants
Yes.
and then allow the speaker to unmute.
has no way of meeting.
Christy, can you mute her if that's coming from her?
Because this makes it
All right, who was the second one, Christy, that you had? Maybe Caitlin needs to put it in a message where it can be seen. Christy, who was the second one?
No, Christy's muted.
hold on. So Caitlin, when you're talking, all we can hear is background noise and some high-pitched screeching. So we muted you so that we could hear.
She may need
We
to
can't
type.
hear you because you're muted.
Somebody's saying her name is Michelle, not Caitlin.
Okay, well, she's coming up on my screen as Caitlin. So it's Michelle.
Yep, that's what I'm seeing.
Okay, so Michelle, we still can't hear you. You are muted. And when you do talk, it comes across with some background noise and some screeching. So if you can put it in a chat and send it.
Let Chris talk.
And then I don't know who your second one was, Christy.
Outlaw Express have their hand raised.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm present.
I was muted.
Oh, there it is again.
It sounds like Christy's doing something.
So we can't hear you when you are unmuted because you
Come
are.
on.
This is Michelle Trudell. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Now we can, yes.
Okay. This is Michelle Trudell. I have 6 voting people in my house that want to keep the dump open. I'm also speaking for Naomi Habler, who is 85-year-old resident on 8 Mile Road. Her and her son, Greg Maloney, cannot get out to get, they're both handicapped or elderly and are not able to get a dumpster out to the curb of their home. They want the dump to remain open. My question is, why do they continue to have Zoom meetings? Is it not been available to have meetings at the Township Hall? Because this is not open to the public. It's open to the limited public that are able
Exactly.
to get online.
And there's a lot of them, because we had that problem with school this year with Skype.
Yep.
Michelle, I can
What
answer
time?
that quickly as far as here just recently. We had repairs done at the hall, the big room. That was done, and then they just finished with the painting. It still needs to be deep cleaned. So I put out there, anybody wants to give estimates on a deep clean. We also need the floor stripped and re-waxed. So if anybody wants to give quotes on that, we need quotes on that too. After that, we can open
They've had elections and
the
nobody's
hall
cleaned anything.
if the governor allows it.
I thought the governor already allowed it.
I'm not up on all of that, Christy.
The executive order allows for 25 to meet. So if we were to have this meeting at the hall right now and more than 25 people were present, we would either have to take it outside or call the meeting and reschedule it for 18 hours later and make sure to get that posted so that we didn't violate those EO orders.
And I am very shocked that the hall that we spent so much money on, we also didn't get a vote on, also needs repairs at this time. That's all I need. Thank you.
Thank you. Outlaw Express?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. I can hear you.
Is this Crystal?
Okay. Well, my concern is my wife and I are over-the-road truck drivers. We're only home on Sunday and Monday. And curbside is literally not an option for us. It's hard enough to deal with just getting to the compactor site around the corner. We typically have to have somebody else that takes it there for us. But it's not like we can put a can out at the side of the road and expect it to still be sitting there at the end of the week when we come home.
Got that right.
So, the way we're looking at it is kind of a waste all the way around for us. But
who's that?
Our personal opinions on this as well is, I think everybody's kind of jumping to conclusions and wanting to go to curbside without fully looking into the whole situation. When, the cost of them compactors, they may be expensive, but they are rebuildable.
Damn right.
I mean, they're hydraulics. Hydraulics aren't hard to rebuild. A control panel switch, not hard to rebuild. So I think, other options need to be looked at other than fully replacing it or replacing it with a refurbished unit. Maybe we should look at rebuilding one side of the compactor at a time and spreading it out over a little bit. Meanwhile, directing our attentions at cleaning up the other issues in the site and making improvements.
I like that, man.
With that, I yield.
It's okay.
Appreciate it. Deb Rivers had her hand up. Deb?
Can you hear me all right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the main concern at this point in time, if the dump were to stay open, the reason for concern is there's no money to keep it open. But there would be, again, there'd be no money for curbside as well. So I know either direction would have to come from the general fund. So a fee should be imposed to repay that general fund the amount of the deficit. And when you were talking about how to find out about that fee, I was advised that MTA and the township attorney working with the township board would be able to, orchestrate that fee. So I don't see that as being a reason to absolutely close the doors. I see that as that's how we can get through for a certain amount of time until we can actually figure out what needs to be done for repairs and how much.
Coughlin lives in Lee Township.
There are
but he's your fire
options
marshal
that there are
from
smart
Midland
people
County.
out there that have come up with some ideas.
Do you
that
recognize him?
Once this would come to a head, all of a sudden we have new ideas that possibly could be explored. So this stimulus coming, as I will mention tomorrow, it is highly likely that will be able to be used for infrastructure. So we don't know when that would be coming, but we know that is a very high possibility. So repairs at this point are actually almost secondary because there's no urgency to have those repairs done tomorrow. We can have, let's say there be time in order to prepare for a budget to implement those repairs. So my main concern right now is
and the one things
is in regards to getting through
some of the tires going.
This next fiscal year, which way we go,
the things are
dump
slanted,
or
not
curbside,
flat at the dump.
and it appears to me that it would actually be less money to actually stay with the dump.
Height of different vehicles.
And the repairs we deal with total separately.
You'd have to step up to get on the fence.
I guess that's all I need to say for now. The rest will be tomorrow.
They're slanted
Thank
up
you,
at the
Deb.
top. We know there's levels.
Do you have anybody
He wants
else,
that
Christy?
flat.
I don't.
There's a Chris Coughlin.
They want it
I've
flat.
got 2. I don't see Chris though. It must have. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, I have a number of concerns with this, and I'm one of the people that have actually submitted a FOIA for some additional information from the township. Outside of everything else, it's apparent from what we're hearing that there are no serious safety violations at this time. So I fail to understand why we can't continue operating and at the same time put something in place that controls the amount and the people who are actually dumping there. Because if we are generating, I believe, Christy, you said something about 3 times the rate of Larkin Township. Was that correct?
We take in twice as much trash from Lee Township than Jerome and Larkin, which are the 2 largest townships in Midland County.
Okay, well, that's indicative to me that
Why would
we're
Larkin
not
go
policing it.
when they got
We
city
couldn't
dump?
begin to be policing it as we should. And that's something that's easily corrected.
She's
But
saying
probably the
amount of
greater
trash
concern
that's
I have in
taken
all of this
is large.
is that I
I know.
distinctly remember voting on a ballot issue to
They're the 2 biggest
retain
ones in Midland
transfer
County.
station a number of years ago. And until and unless somebody can come up with a reason that that language does not still stand, I think that the board is not only out of line, but probably is being in the process of conducting a legal decision because we haven't voted to rescind it, to my knowledge. That's all I have to say.
Thanks, Chris. We missed Caitlin Mose. We skipped over her.
No, she spoke. That was Michelle.
Oh, okay. That's why we were all confused. All right, then is it Gayla Bennett?
Yep.
Gayla?
Oh, Ron Appel says, thank you, Chris.
Hey, Chris, mute yourself, will you?
I did.
Yeah, I still hear you, bud.
I did, but it didn't stay that way. But thanks, Ron. I appreciate it.
All right, so I'm not sure who was up after Chris. Gayla Bennett, I said.
Blue round.
Gayla.
I will say, while we're waiting for Gayla, that I just saw Sharon make a comment that
Can you hear me? Do I push the?
everybody to their Lee Township voter ID. That is honestly something that I hadn't thought of.
All right, is this the Gayla Bennett?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Mark.
Go ahead, sir.
More. Speak. Mute.
No, we hear you. We hear you.
You're good.
Meeting. Raise hand. Chat.
You raise
Hello,
your hand.
hello,
You're okay.
Oh, start talking.
Anybody
We
hear
you.
me?
Yes.
You hear me on this stupid thing?
Yes.
I don't know. And we're not getting it.
Yeah, you are.
We can hear you,
You're
Ken.
on.
Talk.
Just
Talk.
start talking.
Stop
You're
video.
good. You're good.
Participants, I don't know how to get it to go.
Just talk.
Just talk. You're good.
How do I?
You're
We
talking,
hear you.
Ken. We can hear you. Just keep talking and say what you want to say. You don't have to do anything but talk.
Doug needs to
Hey,
understand.
it's doing something here. What's it beeping? What do I gotta do?
Talk. We hear you. We see you.
Description.
No.
Write it out, say talk. We hear you.
Paper.
I don't know how it works. I absolutely agree with you. I don't know that, Bobby.
Can you see it?
Family, just talk. We can hear you.
We can hear you. Just talk.
Oh, this is a joke. This Zoom meeting
No.
is a total joke. Yeah, Pam and Louise.
I need a Sharpie.
We hear you, Ken.
So talk. Talk. That's right. Talk. Start talking. Just talk.
My question is,
You're kidding.
we have a state-of-the-art compact site. It's been working, yet there has been violations from other townships. It needs to be policed better than what it has been, whether it be a photo dump card with a $50 fee to get that dump card. I think that's the right way to go to stop the cheaters. And I would see, I
No,
guess you
sit
would
down.
see
No.
the
You're gonna fall.
amount of
Sit
use
down.
go down if we did that.
Stop.
The person that shows up has to be the person on the picture.
Tired.
No ifs, ands, or buts. It has to be within Lee Township only. That's all I have to say. I think Christie did sweep this problem under the rug in the direction some people wanted to go, but not all.
That's where they can't do that with like you. I mean,
That's all I have to
it's
say.
hard for you to put your garbage in your car and you can go over there and dump the damn dump when you
Thank
have
you for
somebody
letting me
that
talk.
can take care of the
All right.
No one has tried to.
Can you mute? Hit the mute button, please.
They keep telling me to speak, but I
Kayla
have
Bennett
nothing I can think
never
of.
spoke. I don't know if she can hear me.
That's Ken's wife. I believe it's together.
Okay, so we can go past that one.
I don't know. Can Ken nod his head yes or no if Gayla's going to talk too?
Do you see anybody else, Christy?
I do not see anybody else.
Raise your hand again. Just have to speak here. How come I couldn't have done it there?
I do have one question, Christy. You made a decision to answer some people's questions, not others. And again, I'm not trying to be rude, but as a citizen, it feels like you're choosing what questions to answer that you're most comfortable with. And again, it's very frustrating for us for you to do that. I just want to put that out there that you answered 3 or 4 where you liked the question, but you didn't when you don't. And you really need to be, if you're going to answer one, you need to answer all of them.
And thank you for that. I have written down all of them that came through, and Laura will have in her minutes who spoke, what they said, and what the question was, and those will all be presented on Monday.
All right, then I know there was a Teresa that has raised her hand.
Okay. Yeah, there's one way to solve this. That's all you gotta do at the dump. Put one of those card readers. From your issue your dump card, it has a magnet strip on it. You slide it, the gate comes up, you go in, dump, and you get that from the township clerk. That's the way it used to be in the old days. The township clerk issues the dump cards. And the best way to do it is you put a gate that goes up and down, you slide a card, you go in. If you have that card, you get to go in the dump. You might have problems with people giving it to a buddy, but it would solve anybody just willy-nilly going in there. You have to have a card to get in.
And if I may interject, I know I just read through the waste transfer stuff today, and a card had been issued, and it says in that ordinance a $500 fine can be issued if someone lets somebody else outside of the township use their dump card.
Right, absolutely. And that would come to the person that maintains the dump. My dad run it for 25 years, okay?
That's Ricky.
And
That's Rick.
you know what? You know the people that come there. You see them. I worked there when I was a young kid, okay? You know the people you know and you don't know. If the person working there sees somebody that, hey, he doesn't look right, I want to go up and ask him. I got to ask questions. Show me your ID. I want to see your driver's license. It has your address on it, tells me where you live. If you look at the address, not Lee Township, you tell them to leave with their stuff. It's as simple as that. My dad carded people all the time. My dad passed away in 95. So that's my opinion on it. You know, and another thing, we had a meeting a long time ago when Dave Yost was the supervisor. They were supposed to raise the waste thing up to $120 a resident. Mine's still 85. I paid for 4 pieces of land in Lee Township. Why did it go down from what it was supposed to be? Who's maintaining that to keep control of that? That's what I want to say. Thank you.
Also, why aren't you reading the comments on here so you can answer everyone's questions?
All right, I don't see, is there anybody else, Christy?
Rules and implementation. We need to.
I don't see any hands raised.
I don't either.
Is there any other public comment?
I had stuff to say and I can't remember.
There are questions on there that need to be read.
Well, she ought to be getting the picture now.
I shouldn't care.
Laura, do you want to do that?
All right, if I go to, I'm trying to familiarize myself with this. It doesn't show me that there's questions without going back through all of this, I don't think.
You can scroll all the way to the top.
Yeah, it is. It shows me at the very top, but it doesn't show me if. Okay, so here's one. It says we need a public vote. Dump cards, and that one disappeared on me. Neighboring townships, we need to stop them from using our dump. There are so many issues with the transfer station. It needs closed. If I get any more.
I will say that I saw one come through a while ago from Sharon Britson. She had mentioned on there to use the Lee Township voter ID cards. And, you know, honestly, I never thought about that, but I think that's a pretty good idea, but there's no picture on it. So
but not everybody's a registered voter, though, Christy. You may live in the township, but you're not a registered voter.
But it's free to vote. So
you know, so it's not going to work in every case.
Right there.
But it would if they didn't have a license.
Oh, sorry.
Correct.
Well, I guess they'd have a picture ID to register to vote. So,
yeah.
Well, I liked the idea, Sharon. Thanks for the thought. There was another one on there about the stickers.
I don't want stickers.
You should get
on my
stickers. There was a comment on how do we get people from Wixom not to bring their trash to Lee Township when remodeling.
That's in the past, isn't it?
Can you please read through the comments? Everyone gets a vote to decide their rights. What stops people from sharing that card? That's wrong. So I hook my truck to my buddy's trailer. I guess I'm reading backwards. I can't hear anything. Sounds right. Works here. I can hear it. Got it. I had trouble with link, but was able to do it with meeting ID and password. Send her this email. Same, the link did not work for me either. Please explain the contract. Is that for the fire department? Yes, fire. I thought West Olson was up for fixing. I thought 11 Mile to Olson. Need to discuss the dump. Audio is going in and out, and now it's completely gone. It's completely muted suddenly, and I changed no settings. Please figure it out so we can hear you. Having the same issue. My husband is having the same issue too. Very unclear. Please turn our audio back on. What is agenda? Gail, I logged out and logged back in and it worked. My husband went out too, so it isn't just me. Pretty secretive for taxpayers. How do I get others to show? Thank you for turning it back on. The sound was never off. It's on your end. Why are you grilling Laura? Wow. She's asking for professionalism. Shocker that she couldn't get it. Oh, by what deadline?
Anything.
So
You can't.
can you mute?
I just read it. She ain't changed
So we
it.
have budget for dump. Why are you trying to close?
It's a
I can't
Photoshop
see
picture.
anything but that budget.
It's her
Does the
Photoshop
taxpayer
picture.
not get to discuss? Why is Christy being so rude? Hold your head up, Laura. This is an official public meeting. We, the public, don't get to talk until public comment. That's how it works. That's the way she talks to everyone. Dump will be discussed. Wait another 3 hours for them to stop arguing between each other. Why was that not done for the dump? Not without a vote. Good job, Laura. Does the clerk get paid extra for being the official scapegoat? I would like to recommend using a different CPA. Yo does not work in the best interest of anyone but themselves. They overcharge for what they do as well. We know this from personal experience.
Why the tone?
I agree. MTA. Yes, it did and was voted on. The county clerk also should have those records. It should state in there for what it was for. So what is wrong with the township webpage and posting things in a timely manner on that? Why are we paying for it and nothing is being done with it? What are your other reasons to close the dump, or is it just tires? Really? Have we talked to vendors like CM Rubber Technologies that use this for mulch so that we can actually make a profit? They turn it around and sell it. How does it cost us money? If we paid $2 per tire, then we should have the money to pay it. Where's that money? Doug got the $2 per tire in his own pocket. So did the insurance carrier really say there is a liability, or is this hearsay? If we should only have 500 tires at a time, why wasn't this monitored better? Is that an accusation being made by Andrea about Doug? I'm asking if the $2 went to Doug according to the 2007 approval. Has anyone turned in a tire lately? Where is the forms? Rent a chipper for a day, problem solved. $250 for a day.
For
What are
tires?
the violations? Go into detail about the violations. Doug has one. Christy wouldn't allow it on site. So we use my dump trailer to haul them off site, then haul to the landfill. Midland Daily News 2012, Mike Glenn had monthly meeting, residents attend, decide to keep open in fear of increased trash dump. 7 Mile and Olson already being dumped. Wow, nothing like admission. The money in surplus from the skid steer should be more than enough from these lines. Admission under duress. Since we do not know where the extra grant money went, could go for tires too. Who's closing the dump when we the people have paid for it? Are you serious? They should have been done prior to this decision. Doesn't say on your tax slip, Bill. Our Midland link. Great find, Dana. Ding, ding, ding. Get a grant. Wrong. We will not be short for several months. While you're getting rid of dump tires, please come down Dead End Olson Road, west of 11 Mile, and include the hundreds of tires on properties along with the 91 junk cars. It takes time to determine how much it's going to cost. It cannot be done overnight. Use the pump money. The transfer station is far more important than that. $133,790 is available for those costs. What happened to the $200,000 restricted fund for compactor replacement showing up in the budget in the recent years? This has been an ongoing issue for years. Why has no one applied for a grant? Not true what Christy is saying.
It's almost 7
Didn't
o'clock.
you just say that there weren't any fines administered? You are meeting next week to make that determination. Did I misunderstand that statement? It's gone now. Won't provide answers in FOIA. Priorities. Repairs are not even verified if necessary. True. Haven't even seen an estimate yet. Sounds like the prior treasurer, current treasurer wasn't counting too well. Fines are not definite yet. She said just earlier in this meeting, all restricted funds don't mean restricted if they need them for something else. Why didn't the treasurer and money watchdogs realize all of this 4 to 5 years ago? Trustee Rippey and Trustee Gustafson, what were you doing? Like the water district waste down Hines Road, where money's transferred away from the transfer station to the fire. Wow, how many taxpayers are in the township? First true thing you said, Christy, that you are a dictator. The treasurer has been three different figures from Christy. What do you expect? Control freak and very unprofessional. Amen, Lawrence. Agree, Lawrence. I just got my dump card. Go, Lawrence. Do your job, Christy. Thank you, Lawrence. She is a bully in these meetings and speaks over everyone else. Go, Lawrence. talking or supporting. Go, Lawrence.
Laura's
Yes,
trying
Lawrence.
not to laugh.
Laura's
trying not to
Fine,
laugh.
send people to Laura. Then you need to add an application on the township website to apply for dump cards. Go, Lawrence. I like this one. Hashtag I love Lawrence. Yes, there was a box for the tire money that went to the township. There was a box for the tire money that went to the township. Our driver's licenses could be used. Yes, that is your job, Christy. And Lawrence is the only one with no previous experience. Me and my 6 sons are not all going to purchase a dump card, so driver's licenses should be adequate. Go, Lawrence. Got to love receipts. True. Go, Laura. Slide it under the table. Yes. Thank you, Laura. Christy's really good at throwing everyone under the bus. There should have been public communication to the residents. Mailing have been prior method of communication for major decisions. You are the supervisor, Christy. Keep secrets. Leave the transfer station to an unbiased group. Finance, audit, and review. Take 6 months. Thank you, Laura, for being honest. Meeting minutes aren't logged for December of 2020. Stop interrupting, Christy. Keep head up, Laura and Lawrence. Let Laura speak. Wait, the compactor needs replaced? Do we have information on this to share? Stop interrupting, Laura. Very. Where's the money go that you get every year for this? Go, Christy. How smart will it be when our township is full of trash? Thank you, Laura and Lawrence. Go, Laura. A recall should have been started at the moment Christy said, don't let the public know. No, there is no report showing that the compactor needs to be replaced. Recall or
From
resign,
Brooklyn to
doesn't
everyone.
matter.
I'm
Please go
ashamed
away.
to listen
New
to
or
you read
repair
this.
maintenance. An independent inspector
People's
needs
actually
to
got
be
their own
retained
They keep
to
posting.
do an honest examination of the compactor. That is what any fiscally responsible entity would do. Didn't we have a tire shredder? What happened to that?
You made him take it away.
No, you haven't said that. 6 p.m. So why so soon? You know all residents are interested. Is it a Zoom meeting? You're a beep, Christy. Just because you only have to give 2 hours notice of an agenda doesn't mean
Laura,
you couldn't
Syra,
be considerate
why
of
are you
your
yelling
residents
at us, Christy?
you are supposed to be servicing in their best interest. Make sure the link works this time. Wow, last I checked, they're all employed by us, the taxpayers of the township. Isn't the supervisor's duty to run the meeting versus the clerk? I got one. Do not want the dump closed. It's ridiculous to give such short notice to the residents of Lee Township. We're still cleaning up from the flood. You're still sticking too close to the dump on April 1st, despite the very strong complaints to the contrary. Indeed. Stop crying. Recall Christie. When can public address? Inside or outside? What is the link for the meeting on Saturday? Some of us are unable to be there in person, so others cannot speak. Public will have an opportunity to speak. When will questions be answered by the board? About a couple of minutes each person that raises a hand. Monday meeting. They don't really care what we think. You better be the public. You better heed the public comment. We will determine if you will continue with a job. Martha Grace wants to keep the dump. Thank you, Deb. We cannot make it a Zoom meeting in addition to in person. Why were safety paraffy? Lost speaker again. Please turn it back on. I guess George is thrown under the bus too. So do what's right for Doug now and consider public insight for the use of the facility. You are doing it the wrong way. Good point, Laura. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Thank you, Laura. So then borrow to fix it. Repairs can come later. Put the money back that you stole from the dump for the fire department. General funds for this upcoming fiscal year. Doesn't sound like there has been much oversight from the board to date.
You have to read it
All
out loud
fixed
directly.
costs and fines are
Brown.
made up or exaggerated. Fee imposed to repay
This is
the
a
general
disgraceful
fund.
way for a
Curbside will
supervisor
be
to
more.
act.
Can we use the $400,000 stimulus funds? I don't think this one was refurbished. I thought it was a new compactor. Yes, we should absolutely be
Who's your
able
dog?
to. Thanks for Laura and Lawrence
behind
being
me
the
sleeping.
only board members questioning Christie. No, it won't. It raises every year. Dear God, stop repeating the same false info from your rabbit hole presentation. Costs will rise in either direction. Don't let these numbers confuse you. The bottom line is what counts. I would
That's what
also
people
say
are
that
saying.
this last year
They don't
was
like the
not
way
your
she's doing it.
typical year. We had flooding and people shut in doing major cleanouts. That is atypical. Can you present a side-by-side comparison, including
It's embarrassing to watch.
lost sound,
It is.
dump usage estimated to be $162 a year? That is not comparing apples to apples. Curbside estimated to be $226 per year. That happens with roadside pickup as well. There should be a way to review the usage over the years and estimate annual spend. Christy, do you trust the residents to have the intelligence that you have? They are your bosses.
There's crazy sound.
Cheaper for Republic curbside because they only provide one service, trash only. It's not cheaper for Republic curbside. That is one resident and one item.
Crazy.
Gotta love when people compare apples and oranges. Then educate the residents. So address these issues and communicate to the public. Don't just shut it down. To repay the general fund for dump uses, it's estimated to be $78 per parcel.
I want to know who concerned citizen is. I can't decide if they're for or against it.
Along the sides of the road.
Concerned
Repay the
citizen.
general fund for curbside. It's estimated to be $141
Somebody's logged
per
in
parcel.
as concerned
Not
citizen.
true. No, it
And
won't.
they're making
Have you
comments,
heard
and I
any
can't figure out if they're for or
One
against
garage
or where
per
they're
parcel.
at.
Seriously, unlimited at dump. No
The tone
brainer.
doesn't
Keep
match
dump
the
open.
writers. Yeah, see?
Dump usage will
Concerned
go
citizen,
down
you don't think
upon
the
new
tone
restrictions.
matches the writing?
Yes, Laura, address the outliers. Good idea, Laura. Solutions versus problems.
It's one of her buddies.
Go, Laura.
It's gotta
If
be.
there were tighter restrictions on non-residents, we wouldn't be where we are now. I've said this since the moment I've moved to Lee Township. Christy has no interest in hearing the community
Get him
input
outside.
tomorrow. Yes, stimulus. Exactly. Thank you, Laura. $78 versus $141. What are the costs? We need the numbers in order to make a determination. Yes. Yay, Laura. An annual $162 for dump versus $226 for curbside.
So who's the spoiled
Compactor
child?
works. Hardship list and volunteer list. It should be determined by residents. Full cost analysis and decision made by an accurate cost analysis should have been completed prior to any decision being made by the board. I'll pay extra cost for a few years too. Additional fee. Our current fee is only $85, way too low. She's trying to make it fuzzy. I'll pay extra fees for dump. Let them decide. Majority should make the decision. Go away, Christy. 3%. So it's curbside. No, you cannot. It's like $3 a parcel additional. Yes. Hashtag Lawrence. Listen to the people. At the end of the day, a cost analysis was not completed prior to the decision being made. This should have been the first thing done prior to any decision being made on the board. So leave it as is until you figure out exact costs, pros, cons, new policies, etc. You are jumping into this too quick. After tomorrow's public meeting, more investigation necessary other than just Christie's findings. I have found other info that conflicts with
Really,
Christie's.
I'm tired of her yelling.
Lots are willing to pay extra to keep the dump open.
Okay.
Can we talk now? Do we get to talk versus you read? There are lots to keep the dump open. They will volunteer to fix the problems. I want to speak. I want to speak. Come on, this is ridiculous. Listen to your constituents. Do not close the dump until this is supported by us all. Right now, there is too much secretive BS going on. Too many lies, too many unknowns. This is wrong on so many levels. You might as well type out questions so that they are documented. I want to speak. Yasna, I will be speaking tomorrow as well. Yes, very true. Nor is it ethical that she asked her board members to keep quiet about anything relevant to the township residents. Where's the fiscal responsibility to the board from the years past? Sharon, you cut out.
We're at 3
Can
hours.
you elaborate on the comments mentioned earlier that as of April 1st, we will have no waste option, no curbside, and no solid waste transfer? Let the people be heard. There's too much up in the air that a decision should not be made without discussion. Christy, you're being an elected official, stated in your campaign that you believe in the need for transparency between local government and the community. Too much has already been done without transparency. You stated you believe in the residents having a voice. Voices are speaking and are being shut down. Even with the board members speaking in this meeting, you are shutting them down. Stay true to your words and allow our voices to be heard and continued. You might as well address someone else until she figures out her audio. Sharon, no one can hear you. I unmuted. She had headphones plugged in earlier. There's apparently no curbside set up. We have high hopes in keeping the dump open until the investigation is thoroughly completed. Is there anybody else that wants to speak?
I'm happy to if you don't want to, Christy.
I'm sorry, what was that, Joanna?
I said I'm happy to read them if you don't want to.
No, I wondered if anybody wanted to speak. All right. We have a state-of-the-art compact facility. Curbside is a system that will put garbage on the road and ditches. An 80-year-old man has to take trash out in all kinds of weather. If trash container goes in ditch, who will help get it out? No one. Mute her computer. Whoever is in the room with Sharon needs to mute their computer while she's on the phone. Her computer appears to be working now. Mute her computer and unmute the phone. We will be here until midnight. Heidi, you should speak. You have awesome points. I want to know about Zoom for tomorrow. Curbside is the only reasonable way to go. I would like to speak. When Dave Yost, Ron Rippey, Mike Glenn, Bert Kellogg, and Dale Wolfgang was on the board, it was voted to keep the dump and raise the fees to $120. Ours says $85. If they haven't taken stuff in 3 to 4 years, how is another couple months going to help? Christy and I spoke on the phone. She voiced one of her concerns was cleaning up the township. How are we going to handle citizens that won't sign up for curbside and will start dumping their trash in the roads? Currently, 7 Mile at Olson Road are full of trash now with the dump open. There are tires, couches, daily trash, Christmas boxes, etc. Agree, Dana. Agree. Agreed, Dana. Agree. Agreed. Agreed, Dana. 40-mile round trip to the dump. Great points, Dana. Agreed. Agreed. Any surveys need to be properly designated, not biased. Dana, all they have to do is call Republic and they will come to the house, take the bin to their truck, and bring it back to the house. Me, agreed. I would like to speak. Well stated, Dana. Deborah wanted to speak too. 7 Mile Road ditches were dug out with not much shoulder for trash bins. What happens in the winter when the plow don't go through before work? So bins will be pushed into the new deep ditches. The dump allows people to get trash there when it worked with work schedules. We also have long driveways to roll trash cans up in the snow so we can't miss work in order to wait for the plow so we can meet the trash schedule. Taking it on the weekends works best for me. Can you mute all participants? Cannot hear you. Michelle, we can't hear you. Her name is Michelle. Christy, we need more public involvement. I would like to speak. How did they get their trash to the dump? She did. Only 50% capacity can be there. Elderly can put their trash in their trunk. Hauling a garbage can is not as easy. That has been expressed to me several times. Let's do it outside. Agree. Deb has been wanting to speak. Multiple quotes for repairs were not requested. Very true, Deb. Very true, Deb. You make sense. Thank you, Deb. We should have closed 9 years ago when the township bullies forced it to stay open. This isn't a new issue. If there were solutions, where were they for the past 9 years? Thanks, Deb. Exactly. Thank you, Chris. If the majority wanted this, where are they? We have more than 3,000 registered voters. 300 isn't a majority. We need township ID or no entrance to the dump. Use Lee Township voter ID. I agree, Outlaw Express. Good idea, Sharon Bredson. Dump cards need to be issued. Doug is responsible for ID verification. How is IDing going to help if he is the person responsible? I guess Doug needs to be fired. Talk, we hear you. I don't know what that is, but it's some sort of emoji type thing. We hear you. We can hear you. We hear you, Ken. Doug needs to understand his job description, and that job description needs to be on paper.
Some people
Chris,
are
I
leaving.
absolutely agree with you. My parents, Gary and Bobby Chapin, were just discussing the same thing last week. My dad was furious. We discussed about our right to vote and why now that has been completely disregarded. Move on, LOL. I want to know if we could have the opportunity to attend tomorrow via Zoom. Can you post the ID and password? A sticker for our vehicles, like the state park stickers that parks use to issue, could be an option. Easy to see as they're pulling in. Talk, Ken. We can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you, Ken. Not if Doug won't enforce.
And it's just
What is your question? Doug will enforce if he is required to per his job description.
No,
he is an employee. Doug knows he isn't supposed to let others into the dump. Voter cards are not a valid form of ID, as not everyone is registered to vote, yet they have the rights of living in Lee Township.
I think she's losing people quickly.
Sorry, my thing just... Yet they have the right of living in Lee Township. I would like to speak. If Doug cannot comply with his job description, then a new employee should be hired.
Stop,
How do
Nala.
we keep Lee residents from bringing their Wixom Lake House renovation trash to Lee? Thank you, Ian. No one has tried to direct Doug. That would be mainly the supervisor's role. That was her husband. Teresa was asking to talk. That is true, Doug, and everyone else knows that the transfer station is for trash generated in Lee Township.
But how many people are really doing
We
that?
are Lee Township residents. Thank you for pointing that out, Joanna Lee. Not everyone can afford $50 for a dump card. Agreed. Thank you, Joanna. So I hooked my truck to my buddy's trailer. What stops people from sharing that card? That's wrong. Everyone gets a vote to decide their rights. Can you please read through the comments to answer all the questions posted? Not the statements, but the actual questions. Even
That's
driver's
what we wanted, was
licenses.
the questions.
Comments
not-
aren't official public statements, so no, they can't.
Now
Who
she's
is
just being
enforcing these
tacky.
things? Nobody is enforcing. Maybe we should put cameras up at the dump to keep people honest. Yes, thank you, Rick. Yeah, and the dump operators keep letting in anybody they want. You still can't enforce it. It may help, but it won't fix it. I can fill my truck and trailer with junk from anywhere. Concerned citizens, you are stuck on the same thing. Doug, new rules and implementation would need to happen. I know when we moved to the area, Doug checked with us every time we showed up if we lived in the same township. I've lived in Lee Township for 12 years and have never had a dump card. Yes, Rick, your dad was
Deborah
awesome.
Reiber and concerned citizens are arguing.
We need a public vote. Dump card and stop the neighboring townships from using our dump. There are so many issues with the transfer station. It needs to close. Why can't we apply for a dump card and pay for it on the township website? We have the technology to do so, and you mail out the card. I have one. Not everyone can afford to pay for dump cards. Will it help to increase register to vote? Ian had a good idea with car stickers to be provided by the clerk. They can get a state ID. Dump cards are free. If there were 3 quotes for a porta potty for the dump, how many quotes were given for curbside? There is a mention of charging for them. All just need to be issued dump cards. People use different vehicles because there's more than one person in the same household. I had to pay for my dump card. I think it was $11, but that was 30 years ago. Time for all to hang up on this call. I am. Laugh my ass off. I'm not drunk enough for this. Why the tone? You can't stop it all, but if restrictions are imposed, that would be help greatly. Like anything else, you can stop everyone from sneaking. Yes, Deb. Stickers could work. Have additional support documentation provided from the clerk for trailer loads. Public service is a thankless job. Thank you to the board for working hard to make the decisions that make Lee Township a great place to live. I like the card enforcement. If people share it, they risk a $500 fine and removal of card. Real professional. I'm ashamed to listen to this speak. Who voted for this person? I sure didn't. Why are you yelling at us, Christy? Lee Township is full of a bunch of busybody residents that think our township is so unique that roadside trash service won't work here when it works in the rest of the county. This is awesome knowing that you have to read out loud what people are really thinking of you, Christy. This is a disgraceful way for our supervisor to act. It's like watching a spoiled child have a tantrum. She's just reading the comments, so who is the spoiled child? It's embarrassing to watch. Her tone is not just reading comments. It's embarrassing these residents are acting like children. The residents are? You think the tone doesn't match the writer's tone? I heard my comments, and they weren't meant to have that tone. Yes, Deborah, the residents elected the board members. This is how representative government works. You're just mad nobody asked you. Says the person hiding behind the pseudonym. You know, keeping the dump open doesn't stop trash from ending up on the side of the roads, or how about the piles of trash in the woods? I can't say because I'm not the one who wrote them, but I can hear the way she is implying with her tone. I'm certainly not upset about not being asked for what to be on the board. I'm confused. I'm only fighting for what I think is right. True, Dana, I'm hiding behind a pseudoism only because last time I expressed my views in public, I was threatened with physical violence by dump supporter nut jobs. What you see is what we're putting up with. If you want a coffee shop, take this energy and open one. The dump is a waste of money. That is only your opinion. Exactly. We had a working treasurer for past 16 plus years. When did he analyze the financials of the dump? Hello? Concerned citizen? I highly doubt that. To the concerned citizen, thank you. I would love to chat with you. See you all tomorrow. There are so many reading errors of these comments. This speaks volumes in the knowledge and education of the person speaking, not to mention the unnecessary tone of the reading of the comments. For those that saying I'm hiding my identity behind Outlaw Express Trucking, my name is Craig Brown, and I live on Chippewa River Road, so my phone is a business phone. I am against the dump closing, but anybody threatening violence over this is an idiot. Some of these speakers sound like spoiled brats. Any other public comment? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Absolutely.
Motion to adjourn.
I beat you to it, Bill. I beat
Second.
Motion to adjourn. Go ahead and take roll.
Oh, all right, so I made the motion, Bill seconded it. It is 7:04. We are adjourning.
Correct. Take roll.
All right, Darla? Are you still with us? She's probably on mute. Darla?
Yes.
From
Thank
Darlene
you.
to everyone. Good
Lawrence?
job, Christy.
Yes.
Christy?
What a joke.
Yes.
From who to everyone?
Bill?
Darlene Sire.
Okay.
And myself. See everybody tomorrow. Thank you.
See everybody tomorrow.
Chelsea Chamberlain.